Welcome to the bonfire, everyone. Here is Andy, and we're back to Disco Elysium. This is, I believe, investigation stage number 4. And without further ado, as always, let's jump back to the game, which I have been greatly looking forward to actually, because I was really missing the characters, and I also left at the point where there were a lot of interesting things to read, and it's exactly night, and at night we don't have to worry about the clock anymore, and that's exactly when I was when I can have maximum immersion, and so I was like greatly anticipating, and I'm so delighted to finally be here in Disco Elysium. And as you can see from my speech, I've become more and more fond of the game, and yeah, let's recollect what we have done. We got a new skill point, which I don't think I will spend now. We can actually invest more into conceptualization. Has it changed a bit? I don't understand. I'm in the picture. No idea. Anyway, not now. I'll probably spend it later. As gardener, armored gloves, traffic hooligan, the smoker on the balcony, clothes in the trash, pay for damages. Well, quite a lot of stuff to do. Still, I haven't finished my conversation with Kuno.
Fuck does Kuno care?
I've messed up with you, and so now I rule the scene. More questions about the crime scene?
Yeah, the kingdom of Kuno.
Oh no.
Yeah, whatever.
The body.
Fuck about it.
Yeah, do you know who he was?
Kuno's fuck imp. Kuno uses the fuck imp for target practice.
He's trying to hide the fact that he doesn't know.
So you don't know anything?
Kuno knows all kinds of shit. Kuno's not a snitch, that's all. Trying to make the Kuno sing into the popo phone.
He shakes his head, clearly offended. Do you know how it got out there?
Probably climbed. Kuno was busy down the road when that shit went down.
So you didn't see it happening?
You heard Kuno. Kuno wasn't even in Martinez. Kuno wasn't in Revachol. Kuno wasn't regional.
Okay. Where did he go then?
I don't know. Some fucking
He looks around, trying to come up with something.
Mesk or I don't know, some other place. Night City. Kuno was in fucking Night City.
There is no Night City anywhere. That sounds like the name of a city in some pulp science fiction novel.
That's a fictional city name. Night City doesn't exist.
Why you gotta be riding Kuno's ass? You haven't been where Kuno's been. You haven't been in Kuno's head. You wanna know where Kuno was? You wanna know what Kuno's been fucking up to?
Oh, don't tell him that, Kuno. It's lame.
It's not fucking lame. Kuno's building Kuno's city. Night City. Rage City. The City of Rage. That's it. And it's not lame.
Lame.
That's the name of Kuno's city, bitch. Get the fuck off Kuno's back. This shit ain't about that.
It's impossible to deduce what it is about, at least for the moment. If it's important, it'll come up later. Focus on the case.
Have you seen anyone suspicious around?
Just a couple of pigs sniffing around in the dirt. That seems pretty fucking suspicious to Kuno.
Yeah, you tell the faggoty, Kuno.
Oh, look at this shadow work. Amazing. From my flashlight. That's impressive, really. He looks like a Frankenstein monster.
Looks like you're a faggoty now, whatever that means. The suspicious question doesn't really work in antagonistic situations.
There are contusions all over his body. Did you do that?
Fuck are you talking about? What is this contusion shit?
He grabs his head like it's suddenly hurting.
He says you're stupid, Kuno. They want to make you stupid again.
A contusion is a bruise. I'm talking about the marks your stones left on the corpse.
Oh, did Kuno make your shit sniffing harder? Obstruction of shit sniffing. This is Kuno's kingdom. Kuno fucking rules here.
You hear the lieutenant hum.
Yeah.
You're testing Kuno's patience here.
Get lost,
Kuno doesn't fucking care.
I think we've exhausted all the possible options of interaction with this monster, and we won't have to do that again, which I'm so glad about. And so, yeah, let's actually go back to this trash container. Maybe we'll find something more
The
inside.
trash container stands in the spring snow.
Yeah.
The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
Yeah. I think I want to search the food waste again.
There's nothing more of interest in this sludge of peels.
Pick at the
and
rags.
Not much to see here anymore.
Boxes of
You
carton.
see milk. A box falls into pieces. The container sounds a muffled gong.
I thought there would be a chance to locate something else again. But no, apparently not. Not going to happen. Right. So a lot of things to do now. A lot. And I want to just stand and contemplate because I'm enjoying the fact that the game is finally open to me. I'm not limited by any time. You see how much time was oppressing me. Now I'm so relieved. Let's talk to this drunkard here. Probably he'll tell us something interesting. Who knows? Save the game. Better mouth you... What? Better mouth you watch around me, boy. What? What? Things I've seen and said. Anything else? For the interview? Nothing can do him the job for a man. Listen, boy, I don't start trouble, I fix it. Okay. Been kicked out of every joint in Havashol. Come on, the night's still young. That's true. The night's still young. Again. That's my song. Music's my life, man. Yeah, and that goes repetitive now. So probably won't have to interact with him anymore, at least in the current capacity of his.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the machine permanently inaccessible.
Let's use this first option. Poor little viewer at it.
The metal feels cold and wet under your palm. It looks unhygienic.
Vandalism. Shake your head.
Probably some kids.
Lieutenant inspects the rigged slot. Let's look inside.
A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onug written on the other side, with N and C scribbled backwards. That's Kuno on the lens.
Shift your focus to the background.
Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts, lanky weather-worn wooden planks, an X-shaped cross topping its tower. You know this to be the star of Pericarnassus, or the Cairo, the central symbol of the Pericarnassian church, a star, a great moral height to be strived towards. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the windows. Around the large wooden building you see chunks of sea ice gathered on the beach, and a small tent set up on the ice.
Well, educational, not very useful, but educational. This one?
This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle while looking inside. Then use the focus knob to zoom in if necessary. Why place a tourist attraction in the middle of such poverty?
What's a tourist attraction doing here?
There was a revitalization project in '49. A design studio tried restoring Martinez to its pre-war glory. It didn't stick.
What happened?
They got as far as the street lamps and that statue on the intersection before something went sour. I suspect it was Evrard Skler's doing. He muscled them out. It's how it usually goes around here.
Can't we do something about it?
We should have done something about the Union 10 years ago. That ship has sailed, officer.
Let's insert a coin.
Your money disappears into the coin slot. A clunk, the ring of metal.
Pull the handle and look inside.
The curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry, different blues and greens. In the middle of the shimmer stands a drab grey shape, like a ghost.
Turn the knob to focus your vision.
The lenses shift. The ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay. In the ruins, a man-made structure is visible. A half-sunken sea fort. Its concrete almost reconquered by nature.
Concrete, almost reconquered.
It looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the anti-aircraft tower. A lonely birch tree grows out of it. Its leaves ripped from it by the winter wind.
And in there, little one?
The little brave birch tree seems to wave back in the wind.
I saw some birch juice today in the street being sold, and I really considered that for a moment or two if I should buy it. But decided that I'm not really sure about the sanitary side of the question. I mean, how healthy it would be to buy 1.5 liter of birch juice from some random vendor in the street. Not that he is too random, because people, I think, know him. He constantly stands next to our supermarket, local supermarket. So maybe I should, well, if I wanted to buy some birch juice, I should have done it today, because tomorrow it will be one day older, and there's nothing better than just freshly squeezed birch juice in the rainy weather. I tried it when I was a teenager, maybe a child even. The best drink in my life. But to have that, you have to, well, get to a real tree, not buy it in bottles in the street from some random vendor. There are ruins of some kind of building there.
Really? I don't have the eyesight to make it out.
Lieutenant takes off his glasses and cleans them. Let's leave, and there is one more viewer. This coin-operated viewer has been banged up, inoperable. Oh. So there isn't such a thing as the third one. Let's now talk to the bench. What will it tell us?
The worn and beaten wooden planks of the bench do not look overly comforting.
We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder. Let's go.
Lieutenant looks down the street. Come on, Kim, let me at least talk to that bench. Well, he won't let me. Right, what shall I do? There was a lady there. By the way, the vendor has disappeared, you see, so it's nice that I talked to him in the afternoon. And I wish my characters ran faster than they do now. But I guess that's not feasible. Didn't see any settings. Well, let's look at this monument now. Where's the narrator? An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing toward the sea. It looks as if it's been reassembled piece by piece, secured and mounted in the air with the aid of numerous ropes and rods. Who is this? A silver plaque on the status pedestal reads, "I am Felipe III, the squanderer, the greatest of the Philippian kings of Havashol, son of Felipe II the opulent, father of Felipe IV, the insane."
Not a good track record of mental health in that family.
Who is this? I
Not a
read
good
this.
track record of mental health in that family.
Encyclopedia Medium 11. What did this king do? High 83. Heard create a story from René.
Even by
Success.
the standards of the Philippian kings, old sumptuous Philip was known for his profligacy.
In what way?
Well, he blew through the whole national treasury, starting the decline of one of the penultimate century's greatest superpowers, the suzerain of Revachol. His own maladministration foreshadowed the fall of the monarchy. During the anti-centennial revolution, an end to his family line and the monarchy on the Insulindian Isola.
How did he manage to blow through the entire national treasury?
Stories have it that he had his bedroom converted into a treasure chamber, where he stored unfathomable wealth. Krugerrands, bars of gold, ornate weaponry, armor, and various chalices. There were whispers he slept on a huge pile of gold-dipped feathers, like some obese dragon, instead of a bed, like a normal person.
The man certainly knew how to live.
Deplorable farce. No wonder it went to shit.
But wait, you haven't even heard about his fabled cocaine addiction.
The what now?
You see, old Philippe wasn't just good at squandering the national treasury on gold and ceremonial weaponry, he was also a prodigious snorter of nose candy.
Okay, what is nose candy?
Cocaine.
So he was addicted to nose candy, a bloated druggie?
That's what the revolutionaries said 150 years later. Right before they emptied out the royal mausoleum and dumped His Majesty's mortal remains in the Insulindian Bay.
This is a lot to process.
His Majesty's courtiers said it helped him connect with the higher realms.
Okay, where is he buried now?
Beneath the cold waters of the Insulindian Bay, thrown there by the revolutionaries after they cleaned out the royal mausoleum.
What happened to the statue?
The original was blown apart by communards, then further damaged during the landing of the coalition's airships during the turn-of-the-century revolution, when Martinez was leveled. Most historians think the coalition's hasty landing may have ultimately saved the statue. If the communards had more time, they would have reduced it up to even finer pieces.
And who restored the monument?
Some years ago, a group of liberal, artistically inclined individuals, designers mostly, thought it would be ironic to restore the statue of the most wasteful ruler of Revachol in the poorest part of the city. The statue is supposed to capture the moment it was blown apart, like an instant frozen in time, a rare butterfly trapped in amber, floating on a sea of shit.
That's brilliant, so funny and nihilistic.
People in Martinez tend to disagree, as do many prominent art critics and thought leaders with more nuanced social awareness than the young ironists. Those critics might have it wrong, though. There's more to it than just ironism, but you can't say what precisely. Perhaps this art mystery will be solved at a later time. Philip III, the squanderer, however, with his bronze face up in the air, doesn't seem concerned about what the hoi polloi think of him in death. Not that he ever did in life either.
Quite a story. Next, this sitting lady. Let's have a chat with her either.
The small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. A photograph is clutched in her hands, and there is a warm smile on her face. The photo, an ambrotype from the turn of the century, as golden as her smile. It's the warmth of a winter night's fire. Maybe she could give you comfort and shelter, some cigarettes and food money. Maybe she's your...
Grandma?
Nothing. Her smile just keeps widening. Her hair is gray like lead.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'd like to ask some questions.
No response. Wherever this woman is, your words fail to reach her.
Let's snap my fingers in front of her face. Wait.
Wait,
Lieutenant stops you before you can snap.
she's just a distracted old woman. Better to leave her alone.
Why?
Why? I just told you why.
If you say so. No.
The woman still has her.
Wait a second. I remember I could talk to her, but... No, Kim, seriously. Probably this conversation will be triggered later when I have to talk to somebody else. There are plenty of people to talk to. Have I done everything here?
A lorry stuck.
Yes, I have. Now the square is empty. Not a single coin left to loot. Too bad. We could read some books. We could go and talk to this representative from the Wild Pines. Could talk to the measure head on the right. Could talk to... what's his name? The one who is repairing something on the containers. Forgot his name. So, and we have the inn. So we have Gog to talk to, and of course our dear partner Kim Kitsuragi to talk to. Yeah, I think that's... oh, and that business center, all the options, we have to try all the options, maybe something shall happen after that. Now, let's start with books, because I think we might learn something interesting and get some experience, and also have this damaged ledger. But let's begin with this book, Hiem Dallerman. I haven't read it.
The cover of this tattered paperback features the man from Eomdar standing atop a pile of bloody corpses. His two Zweihanders are crossed over his massive chest in a dramatic X, their blades dripping with gore.
So, as you remember from the previous playthrough, previous episode, I did read this book, just that then I quick loaded, and that was to save some time, some precious time. Now I'm going to just skip everything until the end of the book, keeping to my options, and that's the thing I'm going to do. Hell yeah.
Behind him rise
back cover.
The back below, in
Yes,
small, brazen,
absolutely.
their main concern.
Read the
The story
continue.
by nightfall, only 9. It is and with deadly
Yes.
finesse. A few
Have
This book, The
continue.
Northmen, the man from
Continue,
here.
hold
What do you
on.
mean?
Why is he doing
Because
this? Is
what
that
do you
all?
mean? He
Character.
He doesn't even
Continue,
have.
internal
He
tension.
is. What are you? A book critic?
I might be.
Enough.
Continue.
What? You skip past us in the center as swiftly the visitors toss off their cloaks and
Didn't
in
see
an
that
instant.
coming.
Oh, for fuck! When the din of battle settles,
Cut them up.
he probably is.
Continue,
Considering
continue.
the man from here.
Put the book away. Yeah. End of this book. That was quite fast. Save the game. And that was another level up. Excellent. We actually could become quite a physical type now and smash Measurehead's face, but, well, let's see. Medicinal purposes of the Pale. Yeah.
Medicinal purposes of the Pale. The cover of this heavy tome features a number of esoteric symbols.
Open the book.
Flipping through the book, you find a number of sections on the general benefits of the Pale. A large pharmacopoeia makes up nearly half of the book.
What is pharmacopoeia?
You come across the following explanation. While modern pharmacopoeia are continually updated by so-called experts based on the results of clinical trials, readers will find assembled here the timeless wisdom relied upon by generations of traditional Seolite medicine practitioners, Mesk mystics, and Ilmaran folk doctors.
Ilmaran.
It's all quackery, in other words. Finally, something to calm the angry spirits that have been plaguing you. It seems to contain descriptions of the medicinal properties of various ingredients that may be gathered from the Pale, as well as instructions for producing a variety of herbal remedies.
Is there anything in there about restoring lost memories?
There are a number of Seolite tonics that promise to improve your short-term memory, but nothing that speaks to your condition.
I just want something that will soothe the relentless torment of my existence.
What you're describing is booze. You don't need any herbs for that.
Oh, that... Come on. I'm remembering now my story that I wrote about Buddha. It's a short story, short narrative. So a student came to Buddha and asked, Dear Buddha, dear master, I'm existentially lost, and what shall I do? And Buddha gave him a bottle and said, let's have a sit. And first the student protested, and Buddha took out his magical stick, his dreaded stick, and the student followed the order, and they sat down and they had a drink, and the student was liquored up and left in quite uplifted spirits. And then after a couple of hours he came back, said, well, I've sobered up and I'm again existentially lost. What shall I do? And Buddha produced another bottle, and the same thing happened. The student protested, and Buddha took out his stick, and then they had a more profound drinking session. And so the student left totally drunk and didn't come back until 2 days later. And he said, well, that helped out, and I think the message you want to tell me is that the existential answer to everything is that I should be drinking a lot. And Buddha shook his head and took his student to some back room of his house and showed him a long line of bottles, and commented that scenery with the phrase, remember now that even Buddha doesn't know all the questions to all, even Buddha doesn't know all the answers to all questions. And the student still asked, but of course you know the answer to the existential question of our existence, or why we exist. And then Buddha, with a sad expression, hit him with a stick, and the student became sadly enlightened. And that's my story. Anything about curing an apocalyptic hangover?
There's nothing in here that speaks to hangovers directly. However, while browsing through the various descriptions, you become convinced that you could assemble something from the ingredients listed here. Want to give it a shot?
Alright, book, let's see what you got.
First, you need to choose a base ingredient.
Mint. I think it's nice to have mint for some refreshing thing.
Next, you'll need to combine the base ingredient with an appropriate vehicle.
Birch bark. Yeah.
Lastly, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Pomegranate seeds, spoonful of sugar, some wild beans and root. I think it will look very beautiful with the pomegranate seeds, though. Birch, it is dark yellow liquid if you brew its leaves, and mint is greenish or even transparent yellow. With red, it's gonna make a muddy color. So sugar, just to make it sweet, and pomegranate seeds won't look. That's my aesthetical taste talking.
The combination of mint and birch bark make this tea relaxing and good for the digestion. It won't do much for your hangover though.
Well, yeah.
Would you like to try again?
Yes.
Very well. First, choose a base ingredient.
Ginger root.
Next, you'll need to combine the base ingredient with an appropriate vehicle.
Dram of whiskey.
Lastly, is there anything else you'd like to add?
This one.
You've created a delicious tincture of whiskey and ginger. According to the pharmacopoeia, it should increase your energy and focus, though in your experience, it's only done the opposite. Would you like to try again?
Yeah.
Very well. First, choose a base
This
ingredient.
one,
Next, you'll need.
this one,
Lastly,
this one.
you've created a delicious tincture of whiskey and ginger. Would you like to try again?
Yes.
Very well. First, choose a base ingredient.
So that starts to be interesting. Let's go with ginger.
Next, you'll need to combine the base
Birch.
ingredient. Lastly, is there anything else you'd
And
like to add?
pomegranate seeds.
You've created a delicious. Would you like to try again?
Yes.
Very well. First, choose a
Ginger.
Next, you'll need to combine.
Birch.
Lastly, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Sugar.
You've created a delicious. Would you like to
Okay.
try again? Very well. First, choose a base ingredient.
The next one should be ginger.
Next, you'll need to combine.
Aloe.
Lastly, is there anything else?
Pomegranate.
You've created a. Would you like to try? Very well. First, choose
Ginger.
Next, you'll need to combine the base ingredient. Lastly, is there anything else you'd like?
Sugar.
You've created a. Would you like to try again? Very well. First,
That's like
choose
night
a base
going
ingredient.
hell of a fast. Ginger root.
Next, you'll need to
Aloe.
combine. Lastly, is there anything else
And this
you'd
one.
like? You've created a delicious. Would you like to try again? Very well. First, choose a base ingredient.
Mint.
Next, you'll need to combine the base ingredient with an appropriate vehicle.
This one.
Lastly, is there anything else you'd like to add?
This one.
You've created a delicious thing. Would you like to try again?
I think I'm probably killing you with this voiceover, so let's go to classic mode. Without any voicing. I should have done that earlier. Sorry guys. Now it should be better. So mint, whiskey, and seeds. No. Mint, birch, and pomegranate. No. Alright. Mint, aloe, and pomegranate. No. Oh. Wait a second. Root, then whiskey, and pomegranate. No. This one, and birch and sugar. No. Yeah. Ooh. I should have followed some structure. So with ginger root, I have exhausted, I think, all options. At least I hope so. Let's come back to this. Mint, whiskey, pomegranate. Okay, mint, whiskey, sugar. Mint, whiskey, ginseng. Mint, birch, pomegranate. Mint, birch, ginseng. Mint, aloe, pomegranate. Mint, birch, mint, aloe, sugar. Let's try again. Mint, aloe, ginseng root. Right. Common meadow root, whiskey, pomegranate. Again, this one, sugar. Failed. This one, ginseng. Failed. This one, birch, the first option. Okay, this one, birch, second option. This one, birch, third option. Try again. This one, aloe, first option. Okay, rue, aloe, second option. Could it be that I just don't have necessary skill? But no, aloe and this one. Okay, then this one. No, it makes no sense. Apparently it's not this one. So probably it's actually ginger root And then I missed some option. Okay, let's just go quickly through all of them. So 111 doesn't work. 112 doesn't work. 113 doesn't work. 121 doesn't work. 122 doesn't work. 123 doesn't work. 131 doesn't work. 132 doesn't work. And so the last option left is 133. Doesn't work. So it's just completely pointless. I don't understand. No, seriously, I just... Did I miss something? 1, 2, 1. I think I've exhausted all the options. Maybe I just didn't have enough knowledge or whatever. So let's see, clothes. What could be reaction speed? Maybe it's actually electrochemistry that I should have to be successful here. Not physical instrument. Electrochemistry. I already have a lot of electrochemistry, kind of. I do. I cannot add any more. Composure, no. Reaction speed, rhetoric, visual calculus, half-light. No, I think I should have enough. So let's try once more the last time. If it doesn't work, I mean, I'm not going to go through all the options. Let's just click randomly. So, Alright, to hell with this book. Lost money. Maybe I just don't know something. I mean, I am sure I just don't know something. Let it be. To hell with it. Let's... What's that? The pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Oh. What jeans are these? Is it the pair of jeans that I bought from Kuna? Okay, the pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hands into, makes you look cool, calm and collected. As your hand enters the pocket, your fingers brush against something soft yet crinkly. Take them out.
Hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricots. You should inspect it closer if you have time. Something about the wrapper's texture is familiar. By the way, the raw materials were most likely exported from Seaguy, the apricot suzerainty, and processed in sur-le-clay into the apricot-flavored chewing gum loved by kids of today and yesterday. Something about it is familiar, and not only to your fingers.
Interesting. I should inspect what? Wrapper. Aha, another item to work with. Let's check what kind of clothes we're wearing, and that's too many items. I'm kind of getting lost in that. So, hat. I could have an orange bum hat. Oh, I can organize. Let's organize. Jackets there, trousers, and here is crazy Andy with his maniacal organization tendencies. That's jacket here again, another jacket. This one is for the torso, then trousers I put here, another pair of trousers here, Boots will be on the bottom, logically. Gloves will be on the top. Glasses here. And shoes. Well, kind of okay. Not really, but kind of okay. Let's do it like this. So glasses like that. 3 pairs of gloves. An orange bomb hat, and I'm completely naked standing in the street. Yeah, what a scenery. Now, do I need a hat? It gives me reaction speed and decreases my rhetoric. Absolutely out of question. Physical instrument. When I meet, measure hat, but not now. Conceptualization, -1 suggestion, or alternatively, nothing else. So we definitely put that on. Then, flare cut, trousers, savoir-faire minus electrochemistry plus. No. Chemistry plus speed minus. No. Composure +1, nice. And full modular track pants, savoir-faire, and physical instrument plus. Let's put them on just to check. Maybe there is something interactable there from Kuno. No, there isn't. Let's take them off, put them back, and put on the composure black jeans. The next thing is Ceramirizian lawn jacket, conceptualization plus, or esprit de corps, or suggestion, no, absolutely not, or esprit de corps and shivers. I think conceptualization is more useful for me. Then composure or something strange. So composure probably is much more useful. -1 savoir-faire, but that's okay. Neat office sheets. Visual calculus plus, drama minus, or logic plus. Logic is more useful. Next. So hat is out of question, as we said. Next is gloves. Interfacing, electrochemistry, and half-light. Hard thing to say, but I think electrochemistry, it's more reactive, it's more responsive to the calls, so let's keep it like this and save our game and back to the items interaction. Let's talk to this gum wrapper. A gleaming chewing gum wrapper found in the pocket of the laborer jeans. It gives off an ever so faint scent of apricots. Your mouth starts watering.
A crinkled chewing gum wrapper. The worn label reads, Tutti Frutti. It smells faintly of apricots, with a barely noticeable twinge of cinnamon. You feel compelled to point out that there's nothing fruity about cinnamon. It's a spice derived from tree bark.
I just wanted to say that. The game still reads me. I remember I was playing the game for the first time in January, I think it was, and a lot of things I wanted to say, or a lot of things I felt, the game just caught me on that, and that was, well, terribly entertaining. And now again, but here it's not terrible. It's actually, like, I feel like I'm heard. So cinnamon's not a fruit.
Can a used wrapper
I
shrug?
also don't like it.
Seems like that's what the wrapper is doing somehow. This is not about flowers or bark. What is this about? Why are you looking at this wrapper?
Why do I care about this?
Good question. There is no answer or secret phrase written on the inside of the wrapper. Yet you're drawn to it. Drawn by regret. Stop before you hurt yourself with a Tutti Frutti wrapper. Throw it away, please.
I'll hang on to it just in case.
You carefully fold the wrapper into a square before putting it back into your pocket, lovingly even, despite the strange feeling of regret.
Mysterious. Very mysterious. Alright. Time for, I wanted to say, time for another book. And the clock now is frozen at 2 hours, 8 minutes night time. Another Dick Mullen book that woefully misrepresents the nature of police work. In this one, our detective returns from a trip, having successfully solved one case, only to embark on another. Does he finally face the taxing nature of his occupation? No, he doesn't even look like a normal officer of the law. Interact.
In your hand, you hold Dick Mullen and the mistaken identity. The brittle paperback feels fragile to the touch.
Examine the cover.
The cover features a pastiche of different scenes. In the foreground, a man in a dark overcoat clutches a pistol to his chest. Rising up behind him are two silhouettes wrapped in a passionate embrace. The tagline reads, "Detective Dick Mullen must prove his innocence after an old friend is murdered by someone who looks just like Dick Mullen." That seems to sum up the premise nicely. Needless to say, it violates nearly every RCM regulation for a detective to investigate a murder in which he is a suspect.
Oh, sounds a bit logical.
Are you really reading that, detective?
I'm looking for advice on being a real detective.
Well, you won't find it in there. Those books are much more about ravishing dames and gunplay than real police work.
I have an idea. That book is about police, so we have to have police attire here. For which we need Esprit de Cop. One, and I thought there was one more, but I was wrong. Okay, back to the book.
In your hand, you hold Dick Mullen and the
Yay.
mistaken identity.
Start reading.
The story opens with a knock at the door. Detective Dick Mullen is greeted by an old friend, Charlie Spillane, who's come to Mullen to ask a favor on this dark and cold night. Spillane needs Mullen to drive him in from Vespa to a small town along the Elysium coast. Despite his friend's apparent agitation, Mullen does as he's asked, then returns home where he passes out drunk, as he does most nights. An extremely unprofessional and hurtful stereotype that's offensive to all upstanding officers of the law.
I can't judge.
2 days later, Mullen is arrested by the Vespa police and charged with the murder of Charlie Spillane. At his interrogation, Mullen learns that Charlie Spillane was shot in a bar in the very town Mullen dropped him off in by a man matching Mullen's description. Desperate to clear his name, Mullen manages to convince the Vespa police to release him for 3 days so that Mullen may solve his friend's murder and prove his innocence.
Cops release the primary suspect so he can find the real killer. Are you shitting me? Well, no way Mullen did it. Mullen, keep reading.
Of course, Mullen didn't do it. That's the whole premise of the book. Anyway, Mullen returns to the seaside bar where Spillane was murdered and meets a beautiful, mysterious woman named Diana Deneuve.
Now it's getting interesting.
Deneuve reveals that she was Spillane's lover and that he was mixed up with a local amphetamine smuggling operation. As soon as Mullen begins pulling at strings, the whole conspiracy begins to unravel. Not only is the local police captain in on the amphetamine ring, so is the son of a powerful politician and a strung-out art collector named Torvald, each of whom has his own reasons for wanting Spillane dead.
Bullshit. Torvald is a dwarf and he is from the Black Mountain clan and he is from Arcanum. So he can't be a strung-out art collector. But the rest of the story seems nice. So tell me about the corrupt police captain.
Outwardly, the old police captain is a real law and order crypto-fascist, a barrel-chested man who's beaten his share of suspects to pulp. But he's also dirty and increasingly paranoid that someone's going to expose his role in the drug ring. He would certainly have the motive and the means, but the captain walks with a noticeable limp from an old war injury. Is it possible that he was able to conceal it long enough to commit the murder?
I want to hear about the politician's son.
A typical privileged twat. In all likelihood, he's just in over his head. He does bear a personal grudge against Spillane, though, a former prosecutor who nearly brought down his father's administration. The kid doesn't exactly have Dick Mullen's manly build, but he is the correct height. And while interrogating him at his home, Mullen did notice a certain overcoat that looks suspiciously like his own.
And what was that about an art collector who is also a dwarf?
Torvald, the art collector, is a strung-out mess. Frankly, it's hard to imagine him holding a pistol steady enough to actually hit someone, let alone plug them 3 times in the chest the way Ospelane got did.
You have no idea what you're talking about. Torvald was the chief on the island of Despair for a colony of prisoners for, what was that, 50 years, I think, or 100 years before we rescued him, and so he definitely can hold a pistol steady enough to actually hit someone. I'm sure he did. So he also had a bodyguard, so I don't know what to...
That said, Torvald and Spillane have a long history, and while interrogating him, Mullen discovers that Torvald was once involved with Deanna Deneuve. Could it be that this is all over a sordid love triangle?
No, I think it couldn't. Let's get on with the story.
One evening, Deanna Deneuve comes to Mullen's hostel room in tears. The two of them drink half a bottle of vodka, and soon they're seeking comfort in each other's arms. Well, that testimony won't be admissible any longer.
How does Mullen expect to solve the murder if he's sleeping with witnesses? With witnesses, yes.
The man's a prosecutor's nightmare. Solving a murder counts for nothing if all the evidence gets thrown out in court over police misconduct.
I'm not sure I'm happy with this, but maybe the story will turn it around.
As the two lovers share a post-coital cigarette, Deanna Deneuve turns to Mullen and says, "By the way, Dick, there was something else I meant to tell you. I love you."
Okay.
Whatever it is, Mullen never hears the words. A blow to the base of his skull knocks him out cold instantly.
I can't trust a dame, shake your head.
Who can you trust in this wicked, messed up world?
Your partner, look at Kim. No one. You gotta go with your gut. That's what I think.
That's exactly what Dick Mullen says in Dauntless Dick and a Fatal Appointment. Speaking of, your gut's seen better days. It's a cesspool of burbling acids and noxious fumes, the kind of thing the government might declare a zone of irredeemable catastrophe.
And why is my gut in such a bad shape?
Could it be an underlying condition aggravated by years of greasy meals scarfed down between shifts, or the liters upon liters of hard liquor guzzled on an empty stomach?
I'll be silent.
No point in worrying about it just now. Why don't you get back to the story? When Mullen comes to, Deneuve is dead on the hostel bed next to him.
Oh.
To make matters worse, his clothes are covered with her blood. Mullen trashes his blood-stained clothes and flees the hostel, knowing it's only a matter of hours before the cops discover Deneuve's body, if they haven't been tipped off already.
And I have bad-mouthed the lady. Oh, I'm so bad.
Fleeing a crime scene, destroying evidence. Even if Detective Mullen didn't commit the murder, he should be facing years behind bars. The heat is on. If Dick Mullen can't solve both murders before the cops catch up to him, he's going away for life. Can you solve the case before the cops close in?
I have some questions first.
What is it, Detective?
Why does everyone close the Dick Mullen wind up dead?
It's a dangerous line of work, but somebody has to do it. That's why Dick Mullen never lets anyone get too close.
Why did Dick Mullen become a detective in the first place?
There was never a time when he wasn't a detective. He was born a detective.
Was I not born to be a detective?
For a moment, you cease to read the story on the page and see the book for what it is. A collection of brittle, cheaply printed pages held together by glue made from the hooves of horses. You won't find the answers you're looking for here, in other words.
Why bother solving crimes when the world is so evil?
Is it really so evil, Detective?
Okay, maybe not. There are paths worth saving.
Like what?
Friends and family, and not only actually. Not only. Not only. Why is this? That's such a stock answer. Friends and family. And how define friends and family first?
Do you even have those?
Well, for example, Kim. Not my friend, not my family, but I do care about him, so of course, got Kim.
Just make sure you don't lose him.
I will.
You'll not find another like him. It's true in more ways than you know.
Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. Friends and family aren't the only thing in the world, and I think that's what dooms the world in the first place, that people are kind of overprotective. I mean, on the macro scale, it kind of works like competition does, but we would be so better off if we were more protective about each other, more caring, less competitive, more cooperative, and so on and so forth, and yeah, etc., etc.
But then, what does this book know? It's just a poorly made piece of pulp garbage made to be consumed and discarded.
Don't have any more questions. I figured it all out.
So, who did it, Detective? Who killed Charlie Spillane and Deanna Deneuve?
I can use the words of the dead body, right? Communism killed them and love did them in. The police captain, junkie, politician, Dick Mullen, you know what? I think I don't know the answer because I don't have enough evidence, and what kind of policeman would I be if I chose like that? So I'll say love did them in, which is true.
What? That doesn't even make sense.
It does.
There's never a straight answer with you, is there? You just get hooked on random stupid notions and then repeat them every chance you get.
False. I make sense, and there are straight answers when I'm given straight information, which wasn't the case here.
Now go on. Find out who really did it.
Okay.
You begin furiously flipping through pages. Even as you know these books follow a series of well-worn tropes, you find yourself completely engrossed. You're turning pages so fast, you don't even notice the ancient spine coming unglued. You try to grab the pages as they come loose, but your fingers aren't quick enough. They're gone. Dozens of pages scatter across the ground.
What?
The last fifth or so of the book seems to have been lost. It's possible that you could gather and reassemble the pages, but it would take way too long.
What?
Too bad, Detective. If it's any consolation, the resolution is almost never very satisfying.
No, that's not true. I read them solo books, and actually I quite enjoyed them. That's for those who are international viewers. That is well, in Russia it's tradition to hate her. What she writes, like not second but third sort of detective stories, like humorous detective stories, and she really has been like massively productive. And I think when I read her, and that was more than 15 years ago, there were already around 50 books of hers, and now I think it's easily more than 100 or 200, sorry, and I enjoyed them immensely, actually. I thought that was just incredible. I mean, that was probably simple. At the same time, I read classical books a lot, Russian classics, which is profound, fundamental, overwhelming, and the same way or maybe in a different way, enjoyed this like fictional detective stories. So that was very satisfying. I mean, the end, you like knew all the details, and not only did I read the books, I reread them several times, plenty of them. So, but maybe I'm just a bad example. Anyway.
And on that note, perhaps we should get back to making sense of our own
It will be
case.
okay.
Last year, more than 71% of murders in Revachol went unsolved. In Revachol West, that number was closer to 85%. In your hand, you hold 4/5 of Dick Mullen and the mistaken identity.
And I think I didn't even get experience from that. Wow. Great innocence. Have no idea what that would be, so I'll change back to my conceptualization cloak jacket. That was the cloak. Save the game and proceed with reading.
The Greatest Innocence by João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego. The book is large and heavy.
Wonderful. Lovely. Crack open the immense tome.
Browsing through the various chapters, you try your best to understand the ceaseless overflow, the sprawl of names, dates, places, events historical. Most of it ends up as a twisted mass of facts inside your brain. Your educational survey is done. Did you catch any of that? No. Oh well, it's pop quiz time. Let's see what you've learned. This might take a few minutes. You ready?
What a reference. Yeah, sure, why not?
That's the spirit. Here we go. Question 1. Who was the first innocence?
Don't know who, but that's the spirit is a phrase that belongs to Storm Spirit from Dota 2. He says, that's the spirit.
Oh yeah, this is what I was made for.
So, the first innocence. The hints?
A pop quiz is a short examination designed to test your knowledge without any prior warning or announcement. Such exams allow the teacher to assess how thoroughly the students have retained the material at hand. Voila. Now blast that first innocence.
The first innocence should probably have some simple name. Sola.
Incorrect. Sola was anointed during the previous century and even lived to see the current one. She was an urban planner who spoke her mind and largely left history to its own devices, encouraging people to excel on their own rather than prescribing to a deified model of history. She is often called an anti-innocence. Sola resigned after an assassination attempt by a Yugo nationalist who blamed her for not taking the side of the left during the turn-of-the-century revolutions. Innocences don't usually resign. Care to try again?
Okay, Dolores Day, something like godly.
Incorrect. Dolores Day was the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. She codified parliamentary democracy and created modern institutions. Among these, the moral intern, she was powerful and beautiful on all her icons.
Okay.
Her colors are silver, white, and apricot. And when you think her name, Dolores, stomach acid rises to the back of your throat, and it hurts. You see a flash silver, a wreath, an airport bag, and blonde hair. You don't know why. Another choice, perhaps?
Apricot.
Steer clear of this one. There's something terrible about this one.
What?
A strange sensation of loss.
Yeah.
When she left the earth, the dust, and the ice, and the humans. That is unimportant to the quiz. Stop thinking about this. Yes, the quiz is impersonal. No need to rouse sensations in yourself at the mention of Dolores Day. Who was the first innocence? It wasn't Dolores Day.
Okay, well, the Pericornesan.
Correct. Nothing much is known about him. It's not even clear that he was a he, but Franco Negro presumed as such and called him Pius. He's depicted as a young man with molten gold pouring out of his mouth. All he spoke was gold. It's said he invented God and equality of men before God. He also introduced the gold standard as a way for measuring people's love for Aurum. As the first innocence, he declared that there should be more of those like him. It is presumed his disciples were the beginning of the Holy Party, the founding party. Question 2. Who was the strongest innocence? Easy. Everybody knows the answer to this. You, me, anybody.
Well, let's try again with this first option.
An innocence is the highest category of historical personage in the world, a literal personification of history. Traditionally, an innocence, when anointed, assumes supreme rule over the Occident or the known world in general, at least the parts that matter.
Yes, so interesting, but I thought you'd give me the answer to the question.
I can do better. Okay, so commonly an innocence does not enforce his or her power through military power. This is seen as unnecessary. The innocence wins because an innocence can't help but win, for their deeds are inevitabilities. Did this help?
I don't see the options, so it didn't.
Damn. Great.
Okay, let's explore this topic about Dolores.
Incorrect again.
I know.
While she originated many modern institutions, launched several successful expeditions, and was even critical of the innocentic system itself, and somehow keeps popping up in your mind, she is not often considered the strongest. Even though the words most associated with her rule are l'amour, la compassion, la autodiscipline, love, compassion, self-control, which could be seen as facets of strength. Would you like to try again? Please, relax.
Well, I think it's Vesper Messina, but I will go with Franco Negro because it's... I don't want to lose any options, any chances to explore more.
Correct.
Oh, no.
Named the innocence of militarism, he codified hereditary rule, but at the same time ended serfdom and established the Inter-Isolari Real as the global reserve currency. He also established the concept of the nation. Franco Negro attempted to solve the rising tensions between the aristocracy and bourgeoisie by building a unified society in which every man has a place and a mission, but at the same time may rise to nobility provided on the strength of his virtue. Question 3. Who was the false innocence? Got it under control. No problem. Solid on this one. It's widespread historical information.
You're going to be helpful this time? I could use a hint.
Yes, there exists a group called the Founding Party, known as the Holy Party, during the time of the Pericarnacion. This, the world's oldest international organization, spends its time in search of either the re-emergence of the innocents or new members. There seems to be a mix-up with the sources. It's not my fault.
I think it's Stepan the Despicable.
Incorrect. Stepan the Despicable, regent of Kedra, was a ruler who conquered the known world during the Kedriatic conquest, instead of the despotic Erno Pasternak. Would you try again?
Erno Pasternak. Ooh.
Correct. There have been a number of counter or false innocences, some assumed to have innocentic qualities, some who just thought so themselves. Occasionally, they have the support of a faction inside the ecclesiastic organization, and accusations of foul play have arisen. The most famous and important of these was Erno Pasternak. He was into torture, despotism, hymns, cannons, and world conquest, but got defeated and humiliated by Stepan the Despicable of Kedra. Final stretch. You've come so far and learned so much. This is the most important one. Question 4. Who was the greatest innocence? The most important of them all. The most precious to humankind.
I know the answer.
I've got it. Honest.
Dolores Day.
Correct. The Mesk might see Franco Negro as the father of nations, but as of this century, there's been a great shift in attitude. Dolores Day has become widely regarded as the greatest innocence, a most radical change to the whole fabric of the world. Everything from inter-esolary travel to the connected world to 3 consecutive scientific revolutions can be traced back to her. Every decade that passes, she seems less human somehow, and more beautiful. Congratulations on finishing the test. The results and your subsequent grade have been calculated. You get
Decreased self-esteem.
a D. Not particularly remarkable, but technically a passing grade. Not that anyone really expected better.
Told you so.
You would have done better if you'd just left Dolores Day for the end. Dial the Dolores Day down a bit.
Damn you, you arrogant book.
What's going on with you?
The lieutenant is jolted awake by your furious cursing. Think it's so smart, goddamn.
Okay.
The lieutenant stares at you, his visage unflinching.
You are shouting at an inanimate object, like a real weirdo. No wonder you seem to have trouble with the right answers.
Man, something's weird about this book. You should do something fun instead. Rock out. Forget about it.
Let's put the book away. Well, that was... overwhelming. A lot of information, yes, but I believe that later in the game we'll have good use of this information. What was that time? The time is not moving anymore. Great. Nothing has changed. Yeah.
The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Year 48 resides on the upper right corner.
Let's trace a path through the grid.
Your finger moves through the various streets, across Rue de Saint-Ghislain and Rue Saint-Cypar, over Saint-Brun and Martinez North.
I thought it was Saint Chislan because I had a student in Cape Town who was Chislan, and his name was spelled think like that. Okay. I wonder why he pronounced his name like that, because he was of the French origin, and this is obviously something French here.
Finally coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing, although the map gives no such indication itself.
And that's all? Seriously? Okay, book La Femme.
The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers spread to the corners of the cover.
Why Friesel?
Because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to overthrow. It's satire, you see.
Flip through the pages, see what catches your eye.
To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text, interrupted again in black and white. After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, you return to the table of contents. The magazine is divided into several sections: international developments, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. Just inside the cover, there's also an editor's note.
Let's begin with it.
Comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, du cristal à la fumée. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist ideology turn to smoke under communism. But, like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée. Unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel, La Fumée is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potential subscribers.
Logic says only 4 issues in, and it sounds like they've already alienated their readership.
So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and international affairs, please consider subscribing today. Yours in struggle, the editors.
Okay, I think this is a communist magazine.
What do you expect? It was laying around the office of the Debarders Union. They're probably bankrolling the thing.
Lying around.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
Want to catch up on international developments.
This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between the EPIS nations and the Free State of Semenine. You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border, something about bear wrestling in Samara, book riots in Yugograd. Face it, you really aren't interested in foreign affairs. You're not even sure where most of these countries are.
No, I'm not.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
What is constant culture?
It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur must mean arts and culture.
Logic says why they decided to title this one section in World There Is Beyond You.
It evokes a sense of recognition and fellowship among those privileged enough to understand. As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée, a critical Mazovian perspective. The Tip Top Tournée is an inter-Isolari racing series, mostly known for its high speeds, ludicrous sponsorship deals, and high death toll. In Revachol, it's held quadrennially on the prestigious Zero Carousel racing circuit.
Let's read the profile of CS.
This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interviewer.
Alright, let's see what these communists have to say about Tip Top.
You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes about a few of the more colorful drivers. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip Top Tournée.
Wait, what's wrong with Tip Top?
Where to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships. And then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes. So, all of it, basically.
Hang on, who wrote this stuff?
Oddly enough, this article has two bylines. Nasteb Encolada Bernal and Exilus Buka. There's no way those are real names.
And why are they not real names?
Have you ever met anyone named Exilus? Come on, they're plainly pseudonyms.
More than that, what's happened with logic? They're likely anagrams. Anagrams? What's so bad about sponsorships?
Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around a track, is reduced to an advertising opportunity. Thus, the so-called tournée becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless brand signifiers. Your discount laundry detergent racing against a pack of Astra cigarettes, or even a Fritta.
Right, but then you get to see them crash.
And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for.
No, I'm really pretty sure I like it for the racing.
Sure, you think that, but subconsciously, it's the visions of brand names being engulfed in flames that you crave.
False. I guess I've never thought about it much, but false.
That's because you haven't been reading critically. But don't worry. The whole point of these sorts of articles is to let someone else read critically For you.
Him. This article says that no one really watches Tip Top Tournay for the races.
Ah, come on. Can this article read your mind?
It seems to think so.
A certain kind of young man reads 1 or 2 books and suddenly thinks he understands the secret structures of reality. If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race. I take whatever they write with a large grain of salt.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
Let's see what they mean by local concerns.
Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dockworkers' strike. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbor red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt. First we take Martinez, then we take La Delta. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Cape Side apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent.
Okay, let's read out loud all the options. Damn communists should have killed a lot of them when they had the chance. If it weren't for the wild pines, all those moochers would be out of a job. Charging rent just to live somewhere is pretty outrageous. Wouldn't it be better for everyone if labor and capital could reach some reasonable accommodation? And why should I care? This doesn't have anything to do with me. No, the fourth option sounds quite placable.
According to these editorials, there can be no accommodation with the forces of international capital or their mucilaginous allies in the coalition. Why do communists love puerile insults? And they wonder why they're always being left out in the cold.
Hold on, what's that about a coalition?
Judging from the context, it's something very large and fundamental. You should probably know about it already, honestly. You flip back to the front of the magazine.
Enough communistic literature. The photo.
An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso of the hanged man, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time the lines intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart.
Hello, Nick. Nice to see you, and we've just finished reading all the books we bought last stream, and that was a tough task. I think I've bored everyone to death, and I will with the recording in the future, but that was enlightening in its best sense.
It still kind of looks like a map of the stars.
Yeah, I've seen this photo already. The mug I haven't seen, but first let's save the game, and there is a new thought.
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate political opinions somewhere in Martinez.
That's me, Mr. Reasonable. Someone's got to keep it sane around here.
The air suddenly feels calmer, more transparent in a strangely tender way. Perhaps it's the hangover. Perhaps it's a temporary surge of serotonin. But something tells you, it's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience.
First, where is this Kingdom of Conscience? Conscience.
It is not a place. It is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's only been achieved a handful of times.
How do you bring about those circumstances?
Incrementally. History's greatest catastrophes have been brought about by people trying to make the world a better place. Too quickly. That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Real, lasting change can only come about gradually, increment by increment.
What about all the things that are wrong now?
Tisk tisk. Just because you live in the present doesn't mean you have the right to place your needs above the needs of the future.
Valid point. I remember this conversation from the previous playthrough. That was good.
You may never live to see the kingdom of conscience. Your children may not. Even your grandchildren might not. But that's no excuse not to keep working. What rationality? What sang-froid? What benevolence?
And I know the Russian meme about that. There is another line of the red color which says, what the fuck? But I don't remember if I have taken a screenshot of this one, but I should definitely do that now. Now, wait, is the Kingdom of Conscience really about doing things or just preserving the status quo?
Do you believe the status quo is preferable to chaos and bloodshed?
Yes.
There you have it. Sometimes holding the line is progress.
Yes. Okay, but what's the Kingdom of Conscience actually like?
The kingdom is difficult to comprehend, and even more difficult to describe.
Understandable.
Partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories that define and limit it today. The Kingdom of Conscience is post-capitalist, post-national. It's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even post-sexual.
Yeah, opt-in.
Slow down, Mr. Reasonable. Did you miss the part about compromising and taking things slow?
Right, then let's get there eventually.
That's right. Remember, real democracy is just around the corner for Revachol. When that real democracy kicks in, a long time from now, we are all going to be so much happier.
Now you need a white bag to suit your blazer. Actually, I have a funny thing about it. I had my stream, when? 2 days ago, it was. And then I left my home to go to a meeting with my friend. And as I was descending down our district along the forest, and there's a damp side there, and so there are a lot of bags flying always, and there was a yellow bag flying. I was like, oh, my bag, I have to pick it up. And then I was like, what, my bag? I never walk with yellow bags in the street collecting bottles. I mean, not yet. Yep, but it's funny that Disco Elysium is getting so deep into my head. Of course, not that it has happened for the first time. I used to have the same sensation with Gothic 3 when I played, well, can easily say dozens of hours straight. I mean, with sleep and food intake, of course, but still. And after that, after those sessions, I just went to the street. It was summer, and then I saw some plants, and I was like, oh, that's the hidden plant, that's the mana plant. I have to pick that up and heal myself. And then I was like, wait a second, I'm not in a game anymore. And the same thing happened with GTA. I don't think my case is special here. Like, I imagine a lot of people play GTA and then they wanted to kick somebody out of a car. I radically condemn this kind of behavior. Of course, not that I'm trying to incite any action of that sort, but just saying. Yep. Thought cabinet. We have 2 thoughts unprocessed, and we have 2 skill points to spend. Sorry. If we don't need anything to upgrade before we go to sleep, we will do these 2 thoughts before we go to bed. For now, let's keep them, because anyway the time won't progress anymore until we go to bed, and there's no point in investing into these thoughts right now.
It's just a racist mug. What's there to read here? Not much.
There's quite a lot to read into here, actually. Let's look at all this content.
Oh boy, here we go. What are you going to say about a broken, tossed-away mug that you dug out of the garbage?
Well, let's see. This mug is an example of prejudice. I'm going to use it as an example of what not to do, or I'm going to push this into the face of every merchant I find and tell them this is your inane ideology, Or the mug will be useful. By denouncing it, I can earn political capital to mask my badass hustling, idest, fraud and embezzlement. And this mug didn't belong in the trash, it was just a funny mug. Can't anyone laugh anymore? The first.
But it was in the trash. Why not just call it out when you see it? Or do some volunteering work. Just finish your case, detective.
Can I interact again?
It's just a racist mug, but it will...
Doesn't let me. The final thing is the ledger. The ledger is a challenge because there is a lot of stuff to read about there. So I guess let's go and talk to... No, let's close this gestalt and talk to the ledger first, and then...
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. This sad display is made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner.
Anything else?
There's a piece of toilet paper, or is it cleaning tissue? No, it's toilet paper, desperately sticking to the back of the blue plastic clipboard. It's a metaphor for you.
I know.
Thank you, waterlogged ledger, for spelling it out for us.
Yes.
Below the pathetics, terror. Do not look into its blue heart.
Blue heart. Blue heart. What blue heart? Clipboard.
It's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat someone to submission with. The edges are rounded, however. The U4 size board feels thick and heavy in your hand. Light shimmers on its wet surface. On the back, you see the embossed letters, RCM.
Dick Mullen is to blame. Well, I don't tend to put my burden on somebody else. I'll take the responsibility. We are trash and toilet paper. Yeah, toilet paper with this trash. What did you say about the color?
Blue.
Blue.
The blue heart. Don't look into it.
Let's shake.
Something rattles inside, ever so lightly. Is there a hidden compartment?
Maybe.
Permeables. It's not hidden per se. The compartment is made for permeable materials that would get damaged if something happened to it.
Let's peek inside.
The plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli, but it is not see-through. You cannot see to its center. With your hands, U4-sized pages hang from the clip screwed to the top of the board.
Interfacing. No. Whoa.
The ledger you found in the...
Easy game.
And the cool...
Put the ledger away. Clothes and interfacing gloves. Anything else I can use for interfacing? Not really. So save the game. Open. Back to interactables. Ledger. Interact.
Oh,
and
the cool piece
try.
of toilet paper is not what you end up doing. You squeeze the plastic to slide it open, but nothing happens.
Hell no. I'm going to quick load. I'll be abusing my powers as a player. I will. Trash being a good point to think about eternity. Yeah, absolutely. That's you know, it's always been my philosophy. It's like, if you lose anything, become a bum, enjoy life, clean the streets, serve the society. That's what I always say. If you want to help people, which is my ultimate paradigm, belief, core idea, whatever you call it, is to help people, to serve the society as much as I can. And so if I lose everything, if I'm completely lost, despicable, miserable, pathetic, downtrodden, I'll just sweep the streets being a bum and have a yellow bag. So if you see me, say hello. That was me. That will be, would be, depends on the twists of fate. Yeah, back to the question.
Oh, and the cool piece of toilet paper.
Success.
The two sides of the board appear slightly misaligned, like a drawer that's come off its slides. If you bend the plastic on your knee slowly,
Then
the slides snap back into place. It should be possible to just,
slide the drawer open.
without resistance or sound, the two panels move against each other. The compartment is now open.
And what's inside?
2 ticket stubs and a handmade postcard.
Pick up the ticket stubs.
2 octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Revachol East. The aquarium costs extra. These let you go there too.
Pick up the card.
Thin wax paper has been glued to a piece of cardboard. Sounds like leaves rustling when you pick it up. You see violet flowers, floral patterns, patches of glue.
Let's smell it.
It smells of chewing gum, apricot flavored, exactly like the gum wrapper you found. The same brand of chewing gum.
Open it.
Familiar handwriting lines the inside of the card. Looped, round letters in a woman's hand. A young woman in her 20s. There is care, effort, and a smile, you think. Although that is not something you can read from someone's handwriting. Harry, it begins. You're already reading. I wanted to write you a letter so you can read it when you wake up. Maybe it will make you happy. Throw it away, please.
But it'll make me happy.
A merciful wind blows in from the bay of Revachol, dusting the ground at your feet and raising newspapers far away. You feel the card slipping into it.
What was that?
Frisson covers your entire body, a feeling of cold, a persistent chill.
Hold on to it, read the card.
Your hands shake, holding onto it. Every morning when I step out, you're asleep behind me. It says, I find a little piece of sadness in me. I carry it in my chest down Voyager Road. Every step I take, it grows. By the time I reach the fuel station, it has filled me entirely. I step onto the light rail and look back. Sparks fall from the bow collector. I know it will be like this until late afternoon, when I get off the 42 and walk back to you.
5 games more and time to choose the best utilization storage among them. Will come as... Is it? Well, man, that sounds not menacing. It's such a foreboding you gave me. Do you think I'm that bad? Yeah, I have a hunch that if I keep reading, I think I remember that you'll die, but... Wow. It's darkening, kind of. Let's keep...
You. Every step I take will get lighter. It almost makes me run. Sometimes I do. I can't believe I met you. I can't believe the happiness I feel with you. You have a vast, vast soul, and I will always, always, always come back to it. Kisses, kisses, kisses. You feel the air sucked out of your lungs and the blood sucked out of your head. Everything around you gets dark. Small white dots appear. Sparks fall like snow from the bow collector. A streetcar distancing. You feel the ledger slip from your hand.
Yeah, that was the death. Quick save. Confirm. Yeah, that's the case with this ledger. So the most dangerous option is to open this container, and we have to do it again, but carefully stop it where there was this last option to stop. Begin what?
There is enough again.
What? Main menu. Another glitch. So much time has passed, but the game hasn't been patched properly yet. It's fine. For the masterpiece it is, it's completely forgivable. Yeah, that disappeared. Ledger. Interact. Continue.
Oh, and the cool
Open.
piece of toilet is not...
Failure. Quick load. Quick save. Confirm. Inventory. Ledger. Interact. Continue.
Oh, and the cool
Interface.
piece of toilet is...
Failure. Quick load. Load. Confirm. I could have just pressed F9, right? Next time I'll do it if I fail again. Completionist in myself doesn't let me just let it sleep, you know? Doesn't let it sleep, I want to say. Interact, continue, interface
and
in.
the cool piece of is not
Failure.
what you
F9.
end up doing.
Wow. Don't you think that failing 5 times out of 6 with the percentage 58 is kinda sick? Not for XCOM players, of course, but still. By the way, Nick, if you're here still, I see you're here. So I don't know if you saw that, but I had a failure with 97% chance in this game, and that was so
and the
awful.
cool piece of toilet
And
paper.
yeah, abusing the game mechanics, of
The slides
course. That's
snap
an RPG.
without 2 ticket stubs
Yeah,
and a
yeah.
hand, 2
Ticket
octopuses,
stubs,
thin wax
cards,
paper has
smell,
been it smelled exactly
open,
familiar.
yes,
A young woman, Harry,
handwriting,
throw it
continue.
away. A
Yes,
merciful
what was
wind
that?
frisson covers your entire
Read the
your
card,
hands.
continue.
Every step I take,
Put it back.
you jam the compartment shut. It's hard to breathe. The air in your lungs feels sour somehow. The drawer is locked. Blue ink drips from the white pages in your hand.
Let's smell the ledger. This wonderful
The
toilet.
acidic stench of rotting food is rubbed off on the cellulose. It now forms the base of the experience. This base surrounded by a faint air of spoiled meat, the stuff of death itself, and then sprinkled liberally with the citrus zest of toilet cleaner.
Nice. Let's slide the hidden drawer open.
Without resistance or sound, the 2 panels move against each other. The compartment is now open. Inside, you see 2...
Yes.
It's slightly...
I want to save the game now and let that ticket fly or whatever. I
and the
could
cool
let it
piece
fly.
of toilet paper. Without
Yes,
resistance,
the card.
thin wax paper has been glued.
Open it,
Familiar,
continue.
a young woman in her
Continue.
Harry,
Yes.
throw it away, please.
Keep reading.
Your hand, every step I take. You jam the compartment shut.
It disappeared.
It's hard to breathe. The air in your
Toilet
lungs.
paper.
It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want.
99.9 in period. It's not 100, you know, misfortune happens. Yeah. Even actually, it actually feels like I'm special. And we're all special, taking into account how we all are born. We once got this 99.9 in period chance and got it successfully. Let's take it off. Or no, toilet paper, leave it there, it's cool. Or maybe let's first explore the topic. Is it kitchen tissue? They look exactly the same.
If you want it to be kitchen tissue, it can be kitchen tissue. It's not though. It's toilet paper.
Leave it there, it's cool.
Cool toilet paper. I mean kitchen tissue. It says, everyone look at me and my kitchen tissue covered cop ledger. I don't care.
Yeah.
My ledger is droopy and it smells like a urinal.
Inspect the clip.
An aluminium block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing keeping the papers together. A regular pencil, the tip worn down to nothing, has been attached to the clip.
Let's run your fingers crossed aluminium.
The surface is interrupted by a silvery sticker. It's rectangular, sparkling with iridescence. You don't know how you didn't notice it before. It is similar to the RCM watermark on your blazer the lieutenant mentioned. Didn't he say something about the headlights of his motor carriage? That you can read these there?
If I listen this voice for ages, such satisfaction. Well, you have a point here. No, I cannot say that it's my favorite voice type, but I am absolutely thrilled to hear that you enjoyed that. Lieutenant, is this one of the hologram watermarks you mentioned? Point to the sticker.
What? Yes, halogen watermark used for adding information to RCM property.
Interesting. What kind of information?
It depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp, mine has my station number and address. The information varies by date of issue.
Maybe yours will have how many cases you've solved. How many years you've been on the force, he's thinking. It'll have that.
How can I read it?
Any capable light with the right wavelength will do.
You mentioned the headlights of your Kinema.
Yes, RCM vehicles have headlights tuned especially to reveal halogen watermarks.
This means you can read the watermarks if you just turn the lights on.
Let's go, Kim.
Okay.
While a bunch of sod...
Nah, let's go, Kim. Let's read my freaking halogen information without any waiting. Turn on the headlights.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
Kim, how do I turn on the headlights?
All right. Ready? I turn, you press start. It's next to the preheater.
He turns the preheater on, waits, takes out his keys and says,
He's downplaying his excitement. The lieutenant is more than happy to show off his precious carriage.
press engine start.
The dashboard lights up with orange glow. The rounds per minute gauge jumps, and the engine of the Caprice Kinema comes to life with a whiny growl.
Press the button labeled headlights.
The lights unfold with a little click, casting electrical light onto the ground before the vehicle.
There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once you're done. We just need to stand in front of the machine now.
Let's, before we go, run your fingers over the steering wheel.
The white
Levers.
suede feels luxurious under the touch, and the metal clutch handle so very familiar in your palm.
So I was a driver, I guess. Headlights.
As you hold your ledger's clip under the headlamp, an iridescent hologram appears. A street grid and the veins of a great river. A familiar sensation washes over you.
There she is. Revachol West.
There's a note of pride in Lieutenant's voice.
Around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no, hundreds of micro perforations.
Let's first look at the shimmering street grid.
The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Revachol are all recognizable. They shimmer in the Kinema's headlights.
Wait, look around.
You catch a faint glimmer from a broken beer bottle in the distance. Sounds. Two men engaged in a drunken argument, followed by the closing of some distant window.
Ah, Martinez at night.
He smells the air and says, "Where are we on this?" Point to the halogen map.
Let me see.
Halogen. He takes the ledger for a moment and inspects it.
Right here.
He says his finger near the top of the map on a segment of coast jutting out into the great ocean. I'm sure I've seen worse. Seems like a shithole. Seems nice. Let's be nice.
No, it does
Oh,
not.
come on, Kim. The lieutenant says without optimism. Look at the perforations.
There are many of them, and they are divided into 3 separate rows.
Okay, let's tally up the different rows.
The first row has 18 dots.
Not bad.
Not bad for what? You don't even know what it means yet.
I will only have a bad joke here, so let's skip it. What about the next one?
The next is the longest. It runs all the way around the border, and then some.
Count them individually.
You count 216 perforations. Considering that nice, large number, a wave of pride washes over you. Though you can't say why, precisely.
Maybe it's the amount of hamburgers consumed per year, but it healed my morale. Nice. What about the last row?
The last row has 3 perforations.
3? That's it?
That's it.
Okay. Hey Kim, what do all these holes mean? Point to the dots on the watermark.
Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. They are your statistics, as it were. I should have guessed you'd keep a record. Officers often do. Let's take a look.
I think I remember what they stand for, but I won't spoil.
Alpha male officers who are proud of their numbers often do. It's meant.
By the way, have you played Full Throttle, a quest game of the 90s? Oh, I've watched my stock answer, my typical answer. I know memes about it, number 1. Number 2, I watched a review from Madison, of course. And 3, no, I haven't, unfortunately. I know it's not even golden, it's platinum classics. It's something like a must play, or let's put it, must have played, but I have not. Sorry.
The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered?
Let's read the options. Wait, 18 years I've done this, or got drunk like a megastar, or I walked the land telling horrors and liars of the end to come. There are 9,855 days remaining. I was a hobo and I lived under a boat, says another one, and then probably some boring office job, same as everyone else, or I feel like I just went around apologizing all the time and do really think I have an idea. Wait, 18 years I've done this.
That's what it says. I might have guessed even longer based on your age. What did you do all those blissful years of your youth?
As I am a sorry teacher and a sorry cop, I feel like I just went around apologizing all the time.
Maybe you were a diplomat or in PR.
Thank you, Kim.
Doesn't matter, I suppose.
Thank you.
Let's move on, shall we?
Thank you. That's the kindest. That reminds me. One of my students, I usually tell everyone that before I was 25, before I turned 25, I was a complete vegetable of a human, wasn't a human at all actually, and that I only woke up when I was 25 as a person and became conscious of myself and so on and so forth, and started heavily reflecting and trying to get my act together. Before that, that was just a miserable performance, and especially at school I was such a naive boy and just trash. And so I told that to one of my students, like I was a vegetable, and she was like, "Why a vegetable? Maybe you were an orchid." And I was so touched by that. I was like, thank you. And that was, well, such a consoling commentary, and I still remember that, and that is something like that, like what Kim just said. Like, I'm a sorry cop, sorry teacher, maybe you're a diplomat. Maybe, Kim, maybe. Maybe
this
not.
next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases. Closed is good. It means finished. You've got, let's see. Wow, more than 200.
216 to be exact.
It's quite a lot, even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually, clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 90th percentile of all RCM officers.
I got an Esteem achievement, by the way, which says, "Goodest of the good cops, really get Kim to trust you." Oh, I wonder why I didn't get it last time. So you're saying I used to be a super cop, or... Nah, that is kind of vain and arrogant and, selfish. I used to be good. That's some solace, I guess. What's the last number? Or I can go pessimistic and say I don't think I can ever become this person. No, let's go middle lane.
Right. Those are your confirmed kills. You've got precisely 3 perforations there.
I'm a killer.
For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the Jamrock Quarter, it's rather tame. I mean that in a good way. There are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident.
It's obvious the lieutenant doesn't think very highly of these officers.
But it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful for.
Have you ever killed anyone, Kim?
Yes.
He says, declining to elaborate.
It's not a problem for him to state it, however.
How do you handle the strain?
Everyone has their own method of coping. Some more effective or self-destructive than others.
He gives you a meaningful look.
Personally, I find it helps to keep up a few hobbies.
Like tip-top racing?
Par exemple,
Lieutenant nods. Oh, French. Maybe I should find a hobby.
why not take up a sport? You've already got that fun game.
No, thanks.
It's meant in earnest. Please don't mistake it for a jab.
Okay, well maybe... Actually, yeah. Tennis, I've been thinking about. Swimming, yes. Actually, seriously, I mean, I'm planning to, but... I used to hate sport all my life. Maybe I should pour one out for the boys, the fallen.
If you want to pour out the booze you've been carrying around on duty, I'm certainly not going to stop you.
Pour one out on the ground ceremonially.
A dark pool of cheap wine appears at your feet. It shimmers in the lights of the Kanema.
Wow, I didn't have a bottle last time to do that, and that is absolutely astounding. A dark pool, yeah, that was right. I'm sorry for killing you. Option number 1. Number 2, the gleaming counts for all, but it came first for you. Quite poetic. It will make it okay with the power of rock and roll. Here's to you, honored dead, and I'm not really sure what you're supposed to say these things. No, that's lame to say. What shall we go with? I'm thinking between number 1, number 2, and 4. Everyone is guilty for everything. Nobody is guilty for anything. I'm sorry for killing you.
Very noble of you. Are we done here?
Thanks for this.
The lieutenant nods.
Okay, let's go.
Right. I'll go turn off the lights.
You're welcome. That quest is complete. Let's go back to the ledger. Interact.
It's the and then incredibly
white
cool.
papers.
They're not exactly white. They're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol, and covered in dense blue handwriting. Ink escapes into watercolor patterns, reaching its tendrils across entire pages. The paper itself is checkered, with faint red lines forming short paragraphs. Once in a while, there's a red stamp that exclaims, "Case files commit to paper." The case files themselves are plenty. You count more than 100 sodden, crumpled up, earmarked pages falling apart in your hands. They appear to be sufficiently organized and extremely dense, if mostly illegible.
What is in there? What are they about?
Work, strife, poverty, the Jamrock Quarter. These are handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51, this year. The exact number is hard to estimate, due to missing pages and an odd naming convention. But there are at least 20, maybe 30 cases, undertaken, not completed, mind you. It's the middle of March. You have attempted 2 cases a week on average.
Is 2 cases a week a good caseload, Lieutenant?
Huh? 2 complex cases to undertake is a lot, yes. You really have to push yourself. I would not suggest it, lest you start making mistakes.
2 cases a week appears to have been my load, Lieutenant. I'm not sure I completed them, though.
That's a lot. This kind of caseload would explain your solved cases tally on the watermark. I didn't mean to say you are making mistakes, by the way. That was presumptuous of me.
I sure made plenty of mistakes.
It's okay. We all make mistakes.
God knows I've made my share. He tries not to think of them. Like a fan of gills, the checkered papers dry in your hand. The handwriting is extremely dense, if mostly illegible.
There was a mention of a naming convention here.
Yes, it appears you employ a, shall we say, robust yet literary system. Each investigation has its case number written on the margins. Yet, still more tellingly, most are accompanied by a name. A title, one might say even. One that draws inspiration from snoop fiction and vespertine cop show staples.
So Dick Mullen actually was my good choice. Oh my, and they're written in capital letters too.
Yes, all caps. One is called The Next World Mural. Another, The Square Bullet Hole Murders. Another yet, The Unsolvable Case.
More?
Others appear more light-hearted. The guys on a couch in an unexpected location and the murder at the hookah parlor. Even the rare article-free collapsing tenement. Murder features prominently throughout. It's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done. Once you're done inspecting them up close.
Kim, my cases appear to employ some kind of naming convention.
You mean the alphanumeric? Officer, precinct, time of arrival at the scene?
No, I mean a non-numeric one with titles.
Oh, you mean the titular? Yes, well, so do I. In our defense, almost everyone in the RCM does.
Why is that?
It's a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. It persists in an unofficial capacity. Officers use these titles to refer to their work among themselves.
I seem to have named the case the Square Bullet Hole Murders.
Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one the man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. His death was real. Still, I named it that, to amuse myself. I pray his loved ones never find out.
What happened to him?
Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident.
Let's count the pages. I have to open an official case. Is there room?
There is, for precisely one more. 15 pages near the end remain untouched by the damage. The checkered grid forms a structure of passages, breaking the case into subtasks to accomplish. Once all the tasks are accomplished, the case is complete.
Commit to paper.
Sadly, the ledger only comes with an old, worn-down lead pencil. It's unfitting of this monumental event.
Kim, do you have a pen?
The lieutenant looks at his blue notebook. 2 fat, shiny pens hang from the binder, like large caliber bullets on an ammo belt. He is not really saying anything, just standing there, looking at them.
Fine, I'll just use this crappy pencil.
Absolutely motionless at first, then animated slowly, imperceptibly even. The lieutenant begins to browse his notes again, leaving you to the case files.
Apparently that was something special to him, like his pens.
The threat has passed. He is thankful it has passed, and that he's gotten to keep both pens. Onto the paper with a brash free hand, uncannily similar to the rest of the letters. The wording comes easily. It's almost robotically simple. A language developed for mental rigor and simplicity. Inspect the victim's body. Get the body down. Interview the cafeteria manager. It's not exactly poetry, but poetry would be out of place.
Cross out the ones you've already finished.
A satisfying slash sounds across the paper. You're done, it seems to say. And you, and you.
Yeah, I have this feeling when I do this with my to-do lists.
Things to be done and things already done. The composition of reality. This is an extremely useful tool for a detective of the citizens' militia. Now all that remains is to name the case.
The guys who wrote the narrative here were just freaking geniuses. I mean, to had this conversation with one of my granduncles recently, and we were talking about literature, some literature geniuses, like there is a Russian author, his surname is Shmelev, and the book is called Leto Господне, something like Godly Summer, Divine Summer, and that's about village life. And you can also like talk about Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, and Hugo, and I mean plenty of writers without any disrespect for any country. I mean, any classical writer is so profound and so eloquent that when you read a truly properly expressed sentence, then you just empathize with the emotion, the event, and the sensation, and whatever. And here it's a simple life thing, crossing completed tasks, thinking about to do things, and that is exactly how it works. And so that is top-notch writing. Lieutenant, have you by any chance named our case?
No, actually. Any ideas?
This is a phrase from the start of the game. The shit on a stick. The setting sun. Let's go completely poetic.
Furies. Yes, well, I don't know. I have to be honest, I'm not experiencing the internal strife that it refers to. And also, could you make it less poetic somehow?
No, I cannot.
Just a normal case name, you know? Think, what would that be? A good normal name.
You didn't give me your pen.
Yes. You know what that normal name is. But it's so plain. Anything else, please.
I don't have another name.
Oh, well, then maybe I can suggest one.
Go ahead.
The Hanged Man.
He really likes that name.
Not feeling it.
Are you sure? I think it's pretty serviceable.
Okay, Kim, have it your way. I respect you.
I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out.
Partner, you know. I'm done inspecting these.
You don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from your nose now.
Browse the case files again.
Arson, petty theft, you don't exactly
Browse the
close
yellow
them.
papers.
In the back, you see thin, translucent copier paper. Some neon yellow, some bright red, all covered in boxes, like marching armies. These look like official forms, waiting to be filled out. Then rip them from the binder and hand them out, according to type of form.
What types of forms are there?
3. The topmost are misconduct fines. The middle ones are station calls. And the bottommost are field autopsy forms. Each is easy enough to make sense of. You don't have to be an intellectual giant to do police work.
Misconduct fine.
A monetary penalization ranging from 20 to 250 real. Severe cases allow for 1,000 real, but that requires special paperwork. The details of issuing these fines are spread out over the rest of the fields, but they appear pleasantly vague.
Station call.
These are quite sinister in tone. They give a date and time for the person to appear at the specified precinct police station. Below the call are the criminal charges you risk by not appearing.
And field autopsy.
A dozen pages of thin copy paper, bright red in color. You see the parameters of a deceased human form waiting to be filled in. Age, sex, condition of internal organs.
We've done that.
Yes, all that remains now is to fill those forms and hand them to people. Fines for wrongdoers, interview requests for bad guys, and field autopsies to dead guys. The rest of the stinking cellulose is much...
Let's put the ledger away. Save the game. Back to the ledger, because I know that we can fail 97% check.
Oh, and an incredibly
Can I read
cool
the
piece
case
of
file
kitchen
now?
tissue is stuck to them. Yes, you can piece them together using the alphanumeric code on the margin. It always begins with HDB 41, then date of initialization and time of arrival on the scene, followed by the title. For example, HDB 41120111700, the next world mural.
Wait, HDB 41. Weren't those officer precinct?
Why, yes, your precinct number is 41.
And HDB?
Every last alphanumeric in the files begins with it. And these are your case files. It's safe to say HDB are your initials.
Horace Debbie Berenger?
That is improbable.
How long does it take to read a case?
It takes about half an hour to piece one together, using the system you've devised. Where do you want to start?
That's night now, I don't care how much time passes. The next world mural.
This one is relatively easy to reconstruct. Overnight on 1202, a graffito, nay, a mural, appears on an 8-story tenement overlooking central Jamrock. The building is a sparsely inhabited ghost tower, part of a failed real estate development called Grand Couronne. Cause of failure, rent too high.
Understood.
The mural is enormous. 2 silhouettes, a man and a woman, are kissing. The text cut into their form reads, "True love is possible only in the next world. For new people, it is too late for us. Wreak havoc on the middle class."
Have to talk to Cindy after that, maybe that will be the idea for the mural.
People call it that thing and that fucking thing. It's visible for miles. In 2 days, the station's complaints desk gets clogged with requests to remove the bummer. You and your partner are assigned to the case. The graffito crew is easy to track down. Only the bell lectures have the literage of industrial paint to cover the surface. One of the graffito artists is rumored to be rich. They take responsibility for the execution, but not the design. The ideologue of the next world mural, as the crew calls it, remains an unknown.
Wait, do I ever find out who came up with it?
The case files do not show you finding the author of the design.
Okay.
The crew agrees to clean up after themselves. However, your partner, JV, is against the removal, citing public support for conservation. This leads to a debate in Precinct 41, which then spreads to the streets of Jamrock, ending in a rare plebiscite organized by you and the rest of Row 3. The 9,000 people subjected to the mural's message, all of Lakeside, Central Jamrock, and Villalobos, plus half of the eminent domain, participate in the vote. Although the case begins with what appears to be a lot of rambling on the streets as to how juvenile and stupid the mural is, given a choice between 2 options.
The mural says, "True love is possible only in the next world. For new people, it's too late for us. Wreak havoc on the middle class." I think I remember my own consideration here. I said that the first part is pretty, the second part is rubbish.
A staggering 78% of voters choose to keep it. Turns out the opposition were a loud minority, and that love truly is possible in the next world for new people, and it is too late for us.
Yes. The middle class are not to be blamed. It's human nature.
Did anyone ask you what you believe in, man with the smelly toilet ledger? What do you want to tackle next? Or are we done?
That's a good point. Nobody did. The unsolvable case.
AKA Leslie and Burke. AKA the public indecency drunk and the property damage drunk is a cursed case. It has been passed from unsuspecting officer to unsuspecting officer for 10 years. On January 29, the unsolvable case made its way to you. Why you accepted it, it is unclear. Every officer, and indeed most civilians in Jamrock, know it's unsolvable. Leslie will always take his pants off when he's drunk. Burke will always trash everything. It's just what they do. It is their nature. You cannot change the nature of a man, and you can't lock them away because public indecency and small-scale property damage are not punishable by incarceration.
I wonder this, if this nature of a man is a reference, if it is a reference to Planescape Torment.
The only way for Leslie to stop flashing his genitals to bypassers and for Burke to stop dismantling signage and rear-view mirrors would be for them to stop drinking alcohol, which in their 40s or 50s it's hard to tell because of their distorted features, is a medical improbability on par with you ceasing to produce the expression.
Couldn't we just keep them out of the streets? Off the streets, sorry.
You would think that, but you're wrong. Where's the fun in exposing your genitals or breaking stuff in your own home? No, Leslie and Burke are on the corner of Main Street and Perdition, because that's where the action is. Can you keep yourself off the streets? Threatening fines, dragging them to the station, locking them up in the hellholes they live in, locking them up in the station, hypnotherapy, even trying to get the local gang of Zemyaki to take them out. The Zemyaki gave them ethanol, so Burke and Leslie would expose and rampage even harder. You tried it all, and still the complaints wouldn't stop, as they hadn't stopped for 10 years. It's plain to see from the files that you, Satellite Officer JV, and Special Consultant TH had more important cases to attend to. You uncover cross-reference to several ongoing investigations, each brought to a standstill every time you drive down Main Street, because there they are, on the corner of Perdition. And what is Leslie doing?
Leslie, I think, is genital, so he's public indecency.
Good, you're learning. If the files
Check
are
it.
to be
Okay.
trusted, that's all there is to it. That and Burke breaking things, and the fact that they're both drunk. But then again, so are you. The case becomes considerably less comic one day when Burke takes a swing at your ledger. He must have it confused with the property he likes to damage. But the joke's on him. You're drunk out of your mind on potent Pilsner. You slam the hardened plastic board in his face. Then you proceed to beat him unconscious with it. In the process, the ledger sustains damage. The compartment within, reserved for permeable documents, is jammed shut. You stop your assault on the now unconscious Burke to open it, but are unable to do so. The officer began to cry, reports Leslie, who, at this point, is tending to Burke. He came at us, and at us. I think he was trying to kill Burko. While trying to kill Burko, you slowly come around. The permeables compartment is open. You've smashed it open on poor Burko's kneecaps. The good news is, Burke can't walk anymore. Can't get out of his apartment, an invalid. With Burke to tend to, Leslie cuts back on the indecent exposure. Maybe he flashes his genitals to Burke. Who knows? But both drunks are off the street. The complaints stop. The unsolvable case is solved. Which is also why the officer responsible narrowly escapes a disciplinary hearing. The end. Do you want to read another one?
Yeah. The square bullet hole murders.
It would be very interesting to read about these, wouldn't it? I mean, there seems to be a square-shaped entry wound in the victim's forehead. She's been sitting there for weeks, on her rocking chair, with a square hole in her skull, staring at the wall, her mouth agape.
But
That's all you got. From the half hour you spent piecing it together, all you know is the entry wound was square-shaped. You never found the bullet. And then another body showed up, also with a square hole in his forehead.
a sequence killer?
Who knows? Those pages are missing. What next?
Really?
Don't worry. One day.
Again, the game responds to me exactly at the right moment.
One day you may still catch the man with the square gun.
The couch in an unexpected location.
Some assholes brought their couch outside and hung out on it. In the middle of the street, on the roof, on the hillside by the motorway. You know, at an unexpected location. They were young, and they thought they looked cool on it.
They actually look like assholes. Damaged Ledger says, insufferable dicks, young people are the worst. So anyway, you got to complain about the damn sofa, or couch, or whatever it was.
They were leaving it out in all these unexpected and whimsical locations. They took it, too, where they also took photos of themselves on it, and smoked cigarettes, because they felt it's intellectual.
And drank coffee, you missed.
Cigarette butts, coffee cups, stupid couch. You had to clean it all up. And you did. So congratulations to you. Case solved.
Did they ever catch those guys?
No, you didn't have time for that. These notes show that you have what is called a real goddamn job. You don't have time to be chasing down the couch assholes. You have a real job to do. What next?
Murder at the hookah parlor.
Murder. Tum 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 at the hookah parlor was a case originally assigned to an officer called Joseph Mills, who is now dead, of circumstances completely unconnected to murder at the hookah parlor.
Wait, how?
Beaten to death by a throng of Villalobos gang members when him and his partner J.M., only initials mentioned, answered a call one night. It's a sad story, and it isn't really represented in your case files. Stop stalling and get to the murder at the hookah parlor.
Right, on with that murder.
Joseph Mills was on this case that he just couldn't solve. Was doing it solo. Said it was a real nutcracker, a real brain twister. Was on it for, like, a month. The captain got impatient. Shit or get off the pot, Mills. Mills didn't get off the pot. Not yet. He kept at it for a couple of weeks more, racking his brains, running with every theory, as outlandish as they seemed. Still couldn't solve the murder at the hookah parlor. Tough case, he said. Toughest he's ever had.
Wait, was Joseph Mills a good cop?
No, he was awful. Awful sense of humor, too. The worst jokes you've ever heard. Really rapey. Still, he'd been on it for months now. Said it was the final case. Said it was uncrackable. That murderer vanished into thin air. That goddamn hookah parlor was all he talked about. Okay, so the case is handed to you because Mills isn't getting anywhere, and you look into it. Here's the setup. A young man is found dead in a hookah parlor. You know, those places where you go and smoke bubblegum-flavored vapor all day.
Can I get high of it?
No, it's soot and water vapor. It doesn't do anything.
Nah, I've never tried it. Stupid.
Yeah, so anyway, young man in his 20s found with his skull busted open, right on the floor of the hookah parlor, in the middle of the day. No one else is in there. Only client that day. In perfect health, too. Some kind of movie producer. No one enters. No one exits. He's just sucking on his watermelon hookah all morning, all noon, like he usually does. He's a regular. No calls, nothing. Just sucking on the hookah until 15:45. Then bam, he's dead on the floor with his skull busted open, blood everywhere. What happened? How can it be? Mills has no idea. Invisible assassin, movie deal gone sour. Girl at the counter did it. Nothing fits. Eerie. Man just dropped dead. So you go to the parlor. You see cushions around the table. Tables low, heavy, really sharp edge.
He sucked hookah, stood up, passed out, hit his head on the table and died.
See? You can't even read the thing without solving it. Yeah, it was that. Turns out hookah does do something. It turns off your brain's oxygen supply, and you don't notice it until you get up to go to the bathroom.
And what was he doing there for 6 hours?
Smoking hookah. Didn't you hear? I don't know. Trying to come up with a movie script, maybe. Anyway, that was murder at the hookah parlor. Joseph Mills wasn't a good detective, and about 30 minutes has passed piecing it together. Next.
False. No, not a single second passed, because it's still 2 o'clock and 8 minutes. I can revisit this. Put the case files away.
Not much has changed in the meanwhile. It takes about... Not much has...
Put the ledger away. Congratulations, we've completed all the items interaction, guys, and we can go to call our precinct and report. The badge missing, the gun
Inside,
missing,
You see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone,
and so on.
a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
Oh, let's tap on the fuel preheater gauge.
As you tap on the gauge, The indicator pin jerks as if startled. It's in the large orange sector, indicating the engine is warm. Next to the gauge is a red switch labeled heat.
Now, that's enough fun with the foldable headlights. I know they are mesmerizing. They are also fragile. I'm not going to turn it on for you again.
Come on, Kim. We chose the case name for you, and now you're bereaving me of my lights game. Anyway, pick up the radio again.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Could you run a serial number from a pair of armored boots for me?
Sure, officer. What's the number? And the make of the armor, if you know it.
E50-100-1000, the make and model of the armor is Fairweather T500/VE. By the way, Kim read it as E50-1001-000. That is better.
Got it. I'll contact the ICP database immediately. Call back tomorrow. Hopefully they'll have dug up something useful by then.
Right?
The International Collaboration Police, ICP, is an inter-Isolari law enforcement service, the crown jewel in the moral intern diadem, alongside EPIS and the coalition government.
Have you heard back from the ICP about the serial number? Immediately asking.
No, and I doubt they'll get back to me before tomorrow morning. Anything else?
Yeah, could you connect me to the 41st precinct? I have something I need to report.
Just a second, officer.
She puts you on hold, the static crackling softly like a bonfire. After a while you hear an old man greet you from radio. His rattly voice is oddly familiar.
10-2, 10-5, this is 41st, come in, over.
A scrawny old man sits in a dusty cubicle, smoking, with a large white rectangle sewn on his vest. In front of him is a box-shaped apparatus with an array of wires and antennas. The radio switchboard. The man uses relay code. You got this. You're a cop, and cops know relay code.
10-4, station 41, I've got an urgent business, over.
10-4, message received, 10-5, relay message, what's your status, over.
Just reporting in, over.
10-18, state your message, sir.
This might sound odd, but there is personal details I'd like to discuss.
10-4, your badge should have most of your personal details. Look over that, over.
I don't have it, my badge.
10-9, over.
My badge, I can't find it anywhere, basically it's gone.
10-4, message received. This is a very serious situation. I need to 10-22 the captain, over.
Is it him? What does he want?
Says he lost his badge and needs to report it.
He what? He lost his badge?
Hey, who is this?
This is Communication Officer Jules Pidieux, sir. Over.
No, the other one.
You mean your partner? Over.
What is he saying?
He's asking who you are.
I'm his goddamn partner.
It's your partner, Satellite Officer Vitmar, sir.
Did he lose his memory along with his fucking badge?
The man in the background sounds like he's losing his patience.
Who lost his badge?
Dick fucking Mullen. Who do you think?
It's Officer Dick Mullen from the bestseller Dick Mullen and the Lost Identity.
He says, fighting off laughter.
Dick Mullen is not your name. It's the
I know,
name of
I
a
know.
fictional detective who would not lose his badge. Defend yourself. Immediately. They're laughing at you.
Come on, operator, tell them to stop. This is serious.
He's asking you to stop, says this is serious.
Of course it's serious. He lost his fucking badge.
Satellite Officer Vitmar concurs, losing your badge is serious. Over.
Here we go again, yeah. Haha, officer has lost his badge. Haha, like I'm the first cop to ever misplace his badge.
He says this has probably happened to other policemen before him and laughs sarcastically.
Oh goddamn it. Is he fucking kidding? The whole station's gonna be dicked for this.
Satellite Officer Vitmar is wondering if you might be joking and adds that this tarnishes the reputation of the entire station. Over.
Mullen dicked us.
Can't we just move on? I want to get it reported and be done with it.
10-4, I hear you, officer. I'm just going to make a note here that you are in pursuit of your misplaced badge. Over.
Fuck me. Mac, come here. You've got to hear this. Dick Mullen lost his badge.
What's going on?
Super Cop here lost his badge. He lost his what now?
His badge. He lost his goddamn fucking badge.
Could you all please just stop saying he's lost his badge for a moment?
He asks you to please stop saying he lost his badge.
Why? Did he find it?
The room at the other end of the line erupts in volcanic laughter.
Sergeant Orson was wondering if you found your badge yet. Over.
You don't have a comeback. Sorry. It's hard to think like this.
He's not replying. Looks like he's still looking for it.
You can hear laughter in the background. Enough with this now, I have other things to discuss.
10-9, come again. I didn't get that. Over.
The animated conversation in the back is making it difficult for him to hear you.
New heights even for Captain Sober. Ask him. Ask him if he's lost his gun too.
Sergeant Orson wants to know if you lost your gun too. Over.
Oh, fuck.
I can convince them that you didn't lose your gun, or say nothing. I've lost it.
10-1, you're breaking up. 10-9, repeat please. Over.
Nothing.
10-9, come in officer. Over. Come in officer. 10-9, repeat message please. Did you misplace your firearm? Over.
Just say you lost your gun. Anything else would only make the situation worse here.
That's affirmative. Over.
He says he doesn't have it.
Dear God, he lost his gun. Oh my, I can't.
This isn't really a laughing matter.
Mac can face a giant of Coco Nur by himself, but Disco here made him piss his pants. Oh, I can't. Fuck. He lost his... Ask him if he's still got his wiener.
I'm not going to.
Ask him.
Sergeant Orson here is wondering if you are still in possession of your genitalia. Over.
Yes, I lost my winner too. Just lay off, okay?
He acknowledges your joke and asks you to lay off.
Lay off? Lay off? Tell him we'll lay off when he retrieves the goddamn police property that he has been entrusted with.
Satellite officer.
I heard him name on it.
10-4, affirmative. Officer is in pursuit of his firearm.
Oh God,
Officer, do you need further assistance?
I'm in
Over.
dire need of financial assistance.
10-4, I hear you. I don't have the authority to grant your request, but...
What does he want now?
He's asking for money.
Is he fucking kidding?
I don't think he is.
Don't give that asshole anything. He's just gonna drink it all.
Alright, that's a negative on the additional funds, sir. Over.
It's paramount to the investigation that you grant me more money.
He says it's important to the case.
He isn't getting a red cent. You can tell him that.
Request denied, sir. Over.
Please, I'm begging you here. Don't even have a place to sleep tonight.
He says he's in trouble. Doesn't have a place to sleep.
Well, I guess he'd better crack the case before sundown then.
Vigmar said...
Okay. I heard you. No funds.
Anything else, sir? Over.
10-10. Over.
Roger that. 10-10. Over and out.
18 kilometers to the south, in the 41st Precinct's relay booth, a small crowd has gathered around Communication Officer Jules Oldboy Pidier, around a dozen cops. The small room is filled with cigarette smoke, abuzz with laughter, when Officer Judith Minot enters. Her left arm is in bandages, and her hair trimmed short.
What is going on here? Did something happen?
She asks, startled. Jean Wickemar turns to her and says,
What happened is my partner made contact. It's not good. He's lost his badge and his sidearm. He seemed confused, delirious even.
He stops to think.
Mac, the torso Torson, is finger-fucking his fist, laughing hoarsely and apparently telling some dirty story to his partner, Chester McLean, near the entrance.
Yeah, Mullen was fucked alright. Sounded fucking drunk to me.
Yeah, Mac's right. This was some gnarly shit there. I mean, before he started begging for money, it was...
Enough! None of this is funny. It's fucking sad. That's what it is.
He's a cop. He's one of us, goddamn this.
The commotion dies down. All eyes turn to Satellite Officer Vicky Moore.
We must help him.
Mana looks down at her neatly polished black shoes. There's a quiet firmness in her voice when she speaks.
Yeah? How do you fucking plan to do that, huh? Get him off the drink? Go jogging with him in the morning and get him on carrot juice? He's a lost man.
I just know we can't give up on him when he's at his weakest. He wouldn't.
The crowd in the room has started fidgeting uncomfortably. Someone is trying to slip out unnoticed.
Mac, man the door. You know what he told me? I don't want to get better. I want to get worse. Those were his words.
He sighs heavily and turns to the rest of the room.
This shit does not leave this room. Not a word of this to the captain. Or anyone else. We'll give him a couple of days to put his shit together.
I guess I can hold off the report for a few days.
Old boy lights another cigarette.
Good. Okay, everybody. Nothing but a prank call here. We all got our laughs. Now get back to work.
Far north, on the other side of the motorway, the officer quietly hunches with his hand in the motor carriage.
Close the door. That is finished. We have 3 skill points to spend, and we've acquired some new quests. Quite a plenty of them, and we have completed. We have completed quite a bunch already. So, and we have how many thoughts to process? 2 thoughts to process. That is 2 slots. What next? We have this representative to talk to, we have Measurehead to talk to, and we have the business center to talk to. Let's go and talk to the business center, which is quite a random conversation here.
An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center.
Main hall, building A.
An off-key melody starts playing after you ring the doorbell. Then a woman picks up the receiver.
Kuno, please stop calling here. Grown-ups don't have time for your stupid games.
Oh, that's the lady from the bookshop. Plaisance, it's me. Please open the door. I'm trying to get in.
Oh, I'm sorry, officer. I thought you were...
There's a spot of static that overrides her words.
But the doorbell is broken, and the bookstore shouldn't even be on the list anymore. So I can't help you. Please don't call here again. Thanks.
A single beep indicates that the line has gone dead.
And Orlando Hare SCA. Wait a second. The doorbell is broken. The doorbell is broken.
You ring the doorbell, but no one answers. What an ominous name for a hair salon. Doesn't bode well for anyone's hair.
Okay. Artemi boxing for Jan, Atlas, and Jim.
All you hear is static, but no one answers the call.
24-hour window.
You ring the doorbell, but nothing happens.
Emma's Fashion Atelier.
You wait for a minute or 2, but all you get from the call box is silence. No one answers the call.
Unwrap your pockets, time to lighten the library. I cannot go there, unfortunately. Fabron's taxi. The rest has been burned off.
Looks like someone has melted half the plastic off with a lighter. The doorbell doesn't work anymore.
Slipstream SCA.
You hear static from the intercom speaker. It sounds as if someone has picked up the receiver, but isn't saying anything.
Hello? Is anyone there?
Yes, hello. This is Tricentennial Electric.
This is a woman's voice crackling and fragile through the static.
Have you come to place an order?
She sounds almost antique, as if her voice was being played off an old wax cylinder. A receiver must not be working properly.
Hold on, Transcendental Electrics. I thought I was calling Slipstream SCA.
My God.
The lieutenant exchanges a look with you.
Sorry.
It's you. My God, I didn't think I would hear your voice here.
Who cares that you don't remember her? Just go along with it. No, something's wrong here. Are you sure she's talking to you?
Yeah, it's me. Here I am again, crawling back into your life.
Michelle, just please.
She stops and you can hear her breathe heavily, her breath distorted by ancient static.
Why did you even call? I don't understand. You've been gone for months. I thought you didn't care.
She sounds like she's shaking. Hold on, tell me what's going on. What did I do?
Ever since I came to work here, it's been different. As if my mind's been wiped clean.
A spot of static overrides her words. When she speaks again, it sounds like she's submerged.
It's so nice. It's so nice to be able to finally meet again.
What about?
She sounds like she's about to cry.
Hello?
She doesn't answer.
Hey, are you still there?
Silence. The only thing you can hear now is static and waves washing ashore on the bay.
What just happened?
Another seagull passes by. It's getting cold standing here, staring at the silent call box.
I don't know what happened either. We should probably stop playing with this thing.
Alright, it's a goodbye then.
You press the number sign on the keypad that terminates the call. 12 name cards on the call box read.
What is a vac cylinder? What is it? Vac cylinder. Do I have a vac cylinder? Where?
An old call box with a matrix. No. Hold on. The last thing you need in your life is more hysteric emotions. Forget it. Find something else to do.
But I know what it is. It's a recording and you just play to a cassette. You talk to a cassette playing, so to hell with it. Fortress Accident SCA.
Silence. No one's home at Fortress Accident.
I have a show ice city.
Silence. No one answers the doorbell.
Main hall, building B, burning in rags.
Nothing happens after you ring the doorbell. They don't want to talk to you.
What do you think were the result if you would go to the reflected 9th floor house to figure out who lives in? You mean in life, like in real life? 9-story house, if you call. Ooh, man, that sounds like a challenge, actually. I mean, that's definitely an administrative charge, quite a severe at that, I think. But I mean, if I become a hobo, a bum, and live in a dumpster and have a yellow bag, definitely I would absolutely try and learn who lives everywhere, on every floor, in every house. That would be my mission. East Delta Pinball, entrance from building B.
Silence. No one answers your call.
Empty card?
This button looks new, but someone has removed the name card. Nothing happens when you try to ring it.
Huh. This button looks new. It's probably not connected yet.
Takes a step back, inspecting the other names on the list. So, failure. I cannot enter. Let's call this woman again.
Old call box. You hear the same waiting room music, but you ring the door. What an ominous... All you hear is you ring the doorbell.
Strange. So I failed to get into this building through some legitimate means. That means that we cannot release the body anywhere. Well, maybe we'll have some insight from Kim later when he talks to us. What's that? Some thoughts? Not really. Let's go and talk to God, because we need to get a place for sleeping. What is inside the tavern? The inn? Basically nothing, so... Oh, there is a note there, but I cannot enter. Gacht. Tell me, what am I to do?
Can I help you?
It's about the money I...
Yes, have you got it?
I was wondering if you could come to some sort of arrangement for tonight.
Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
I'll pay you back tomorrow, I'm an honest cop.
As a police officer, you must understand that I cannot take you at your word without evidence. Evidence being money. You can't stay here without money.
This conversation isn't going anywhere, is it?
Not until you bring me the money.
Okay, I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
I really didn't want to resort to this. The man is thinking.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
Okay. Yes, Kim, what's that?
Yes?
Okay, let's go to the motor carriage. I know what it is. And that will give us some pretty penny. And we'll have a place to sleep. But you see, the game gave you some options. Like you could go and beg for money. That French guy who was sitting on the platform, and then this lady who is the representative of the Wild Pines, and then this Evhard could give you money. Then you could extort some money from the seller with this garbage that he was offering, and then you could ask here and there for a coin or two, and then probably you will have a lot of money. You will have a lot of money by this moment, and that's just not my style. I don't want to beg for money, because that...
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio...
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
So, that probably is also linked to... Well, I just wanted to say, it's not only about my principles, it's also that by giving you money, people kind of commit you to their position, opinion, bias, whatever, and I don't want to follow to dance to their will.
Transport enclosure. Regular people just call it the cage. The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are stacked against the seat. Their silver edges sparkle in the dark.
I confiscated these 4 a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal.
What are these things?
They are spinner hubcaps, frivolous things you put on your wheels. When the wheels come to a stop, the caps keep on spinning. There's no real use for them, it's just for vanity.
What do you mean you confiscated them?
A couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official's son and high.
So you took his spinners?
I took them and arrested him for driving under the influence.
Isn't it corruption?
I don't know. Is it? I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back.
Did you want to put these spinners on your machines?
No, that would be silly. I don't know why I kept them. It doesn't matter. I couldn't put them on this MC anyway. A cop with spinners. That would be outrageous.
Outrageously cool.
He flashes a smile, barely visible in the dark.
I'm sorry you have to sell them because of me.
As I said, they are useless anyway. I should have remembered I have these earlier.
But thank you.
You said something about a pawn shop?
Yes, the Bird's Nest Roy, near the canal. We've been there. If I'm not mistaken, it should be open late.
Thanks, I appreciate your help.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners.
Let's go. The pawn shop. The pawn shop, and inside the pawn shop I think we can buy something interesting for exactly the money I have on me. Not much, but I think it's also some unimportant stuff, but it's just fun to have it. Don't remember what though. Let's see. Let's see and study the assortment the shop has. First of all, this one. What's that?
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet in bright blue uniforms. All are stern and unyielding in their duty. Try to find something pretty and cool here, then use it to win her back.
To win her back?
Yes. Buy something nice. A figurine. This sounds off. You shouldn't trust this guy.
Let's inspect the knights on horseback.
Big men on big horses, clad in lamella armor and carrying flintlocks, the kind that would mow down a line of enemy soldiers in the blink of an eye.
Who are they?
Franco-Nigerian knights. I used to be very serious about these guys.
A long, long time ago.
The blue uniforms?
They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are variously posed, wielding swords and rifles with bayonets.
Wait, this looks like René, the old guy who was playing Pétain.
This is what the loyalists looked like, yes, at first. Then they wised up and got camouflage.
What exactly are these?
Which ones? Ah, royalist soldiers from the time of the Revolution. The uniforms are painted a bit too brightly, I suppose.
Okay, inspect the figurines and rags.
This set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have rifles, but most of them carry pistols. Some even shovels and tall sticks.
Are these even soldiers?
You're probably talking about the revolutionaries, yes? Yes, they are soldiers, revolutionary soldiers. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win.
Let's see, 4 options. It's meant to give people hope even we can do it. The contrast is meant to be disheartening as it ought to be. It is impossible to win against the cohorts of a capital. Ask my friend Garth, whose bitch it made me. And I wish it was more nuanced. As it stands, I cannot comment. The first. I think it's meant to give people hope even we can do it.
Maybe.
Maybe. Let's step away, save the game, go back,
see rows of toy
interfacing.
soldiers guarding the... Why? What's this? A headless man riding a horse? A headless man wearing futuristic tracksuit trousers that say found.
What's this? Show it to the shopkeeper.
Oh, that's the Headless Phone Rider.
Who?
The Headless Phone Rider. It's an urban legend about a man who rides the streets of Revachol sporting a fawn tracksuit. As you see, he's missing his head.
He points at the decapitated figurine. The game has an elusive atmosphere like Call of Cthulhu. Man, you sold me the idea. I'm going to play the game, I promise you. I promise you, because I watched the trailer, saw some screenshots, and well, that is impressive. More gruesome, more horror-like than even this Sinking City, which is actually not very gruesome, but still, yeah, I will play. Yeah, once. And you have this in the recording.
50 cents. Bargain price.
Ah, yes.
I'll throw in the tiny cap too. I think he's looking for it, or something. That part of the story has many interpretations.
I'm buying a toy.
He lost his cap when he lost his head. Perhaps he's looking for the head.
Yes, absolutely. Figurine, set, headless, phone rider.
Did I mention that this figurine is supposed to be lucky? Always carry it with you.
Thanks. Thanks. An item. Radiant spinners. And the figurine. Let's read the description. And look at this picture. A bull. The plastic headless phone rider sits atop his equally plastic bull. Plastic? I thought metal. His posture indicating either desperation or pride. Comes as a set with the infamous phone cap for which he lost his head, The hat is not included. Understandable. Magnificent hubcap spinners that Lieutenant Kitsuragi has donated to you so that you can pay for your room at the Whirlin. They are slate blue and shimmer haughtily in the light. Proceeding to this turbine or whatever it is.
Typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps.
Let your gaze run over the street light.
The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard indoor plug. The light buzzes faintly, but persistently. This would make quite a statement in your living room.
Is that a street light?
Yes, officer. As you see, it's in perfect working order.
His manner is casual, but his speech is careful, measured. He wants you to know that he has nothing to hide.
Where did you get this?
It was brought to me to be altered.
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property.
He leans in so the palmbreaker doesn't hear him.
You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
He pauses, studying the light. How much for the street light?
700 real. A bargain, I dare say.
700. It's a bit steep.
There's also the matter of rewiring, but the most important transformation is the light's placement among ordinary indoor fixtures, which has adjusted its morphological field. The light became suitable for use inside the home just a few days ago.
Got you. I don't have 700 real. There's nothing else you need to know about the light. Save the game, and the last object.
Boomboxes on the shelf look well-loved and well-traveled. Chipped, dented, they stare at you with the unblinking eyes of their tape reels.
Stand on the tips of your toes to see more.
One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big old handle on top. A classic boombox that says Stereo 8 approved. This is you. Golden orange. A sunset suite. Just make sure it works before you buy it.
Shopkeep. This Stereo 8's approved machine here.
Is the Harman Welsh W2. Made in Vespa. Designed in Seoul. Plays all reel-to-reel formats. 2mm, 8mm, 12mm. It's even got a little radio in there. It'll set you back 12 real.
What I really want to know is, could this device come handy in my police work?
If police work means playing tapes, sure. You can use it for that. Or any other time you'd need to play a tape.
Are you sure this is all in working order?
Absolutely. I've tested each one myself with recordings of speech, found sounds and music from a variety of genres. Even though I don't really like music.
That's odd. Why doesn't he like music?
Don't like music? What do you like then?
The stuff I record myself. Silverware shaking in drawers as motor cars race by. Nocturnal animals climbing on the roof. Airship rotors. That kind of thing.
Maybe you should ditch music as well. Get into these more experimental sounds he's describing.
That's ambient, and that's also music. I wonder if I sell these things that Kitsuragi gave me, can I buy this tape player and spend money beyond the limit? Anyway, let's converse.
Greetings on this fine night. What brings you here?
It's cool that you're still open. Big city vibes.
The pawn shop is always open.
Electrochemistry check. Electrochemistry check, of course. Electrochemistry. This one. This one. Physical instrument. And more electrochemistry? I don't think so. Yes, don't think so. Let's check.
Greetings on this fine night.
Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard. He's probably on Parolidon. It's tough to come by on the street.
Parolidon? What is that?
A drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes makes your eyes turn yellow.
It's just me, or is it really warm in here?
I try to keep the shop at a comfortable temperature.
There's a note of indignation in his voice. Interesting. Those triangle patches on his vest, you have a feeling they mean something, like they're similar to the halogen rectangle on your jacket.
Say, what's with the triangles on your vest?
I was with the Emergency Relief Brigade. You know, after the People's Pile disaster.
He coughs as if to mark his words. Yeah, man, thank you very much for watching, and have a nice, peaceful night with some vivid dreams, if you wish, of course. Otherwise, see you tomorrow. I'll be streaming, I think, starting in the afternoon. Yeah.
Had to take Perolidon for radiation sickness. That's what you were hinting at just now, wasn't it?
Thank you, man. The police pile, what's that?
A bad idea. Some poor leftist built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing affordable electricity to underserved communities. It malfunctioned. Radioactive waste everywhere. Probably some of it in you too.
The People's Pile was a Type U particle decay generator that failed immediately after entering service, releasing radioactive waste into River Esperance.
What's a particle decay generator?
A primitive nuclear reactor, also called a pile.
Why is it called the People's Pile?
Construction began during the Commune of Revachol. The people continued work on it after the Commune fell. They wanted a cheap source of energy for Revachol West. Needless to say, things didn't work out.
Why did it fail?
An emergency valve defect resulted in steam pressure blowing the turbine, taking the fuel containment vessel up in the explosion. Both the faulty design and lack of finances contributed to the catastrophe.
Tell me about this emergency relief brigade you were part of.
We were an all-volunteer force, self-organized. Tried to help the fire brigades contain the spill. I lived by the river since I was a small boy. The Esperance. Didn't have the art to let it all go to shit without trying to do something to help out. There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. We wasted years in the river mud. Years getting sick.
He looks at the spiraling light and stops. It must have been tough. Radioactive cleanup.
There's a reason why everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened, and why no one has tried to repair or replace the pile. So much disappointment, and early deaths. Cancer mostly. And we knew all that was coming even as we were cleaning up as best we could.
Whose fault was it that the generator failed?
No one's. Everyone's.
Ah, that's what I told about. He sighs and shakes his head.
So much bitterness.
A bunch of poor people built themselves a primitive nuclear reactor, hoping for the best. What do you think is going to happen?
How did you end up running a pawn shop?
The cleanup happened 15 years ago. I was young then. Later, my second aunt died. Left me this shack and all the assorted junk in it. So I came to Martinez. People told me don't go there. It's a shithole. I said, people, we just had a nuclear pile meltdown. I'm gonna get as far away from Forburg as I can. Still in the same city, but...
Thank you for telling me.
I like the theory more than the story. Outward movement, not vortices.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.
Care to share your Pyroholidon with me?
Have you tried it before?
The lieutenant steps away, pretending to admire some of the knickknacks on display. Looks like he doesn't want to get involved. Go ahead then, he thinks. As long as you can walk straight, I don't care. He won't be your nog, but he won't be thrilled about this either.
You haven't. But don't worry, I can take it.
If you say so. Here you go, man.
He presents a large cave-shaped object on the palm of his hand, very odd looking.
Not so sure about this.
Wait, why wouldn't I be sure?
Because it's an anti-radiation drug, and you're a cop, not a post-apocalyptic scavenger.
Shall I change my mind? Don't need any pyroholidon. Refuse to take the... Oh... I'm so tired already. Pyroholidon. Refuse to take the pyroholidon for now.
I respect your decision, officer. What else can I help you with?
Do you know anything about the traffic menace on the loose?
Traffic? I'm sorry, officer, but I don't drive.
Wait, why don't you drive?
I just don't like it very much. Movement on the road never really gelled well with the movement of my thoughts.
But didn't you hear it when the traffic menace drove over your roof?
Now that I think about it, I do remember hearing a thunderous noise the other night. Some kind of powerful electric vortex hitting the shop, and then moving on.
That sure narrows down our list of suspects.
A vortex sounds fascinating.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I didn't really know what to make of it, but I know it meant something.
You might be able to aid our investigations.
I doubt it, but I can try and answer any questions you may have.
You know anything about the recent hanging?
I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery. Bad for business. Bad for everyone.
He doesn't know anything.
Know anything about the Wild Pines representative that's in town?
Can't say I'm a huge admirer of Wild Pines. And I can't say I trust any silver-tongued spokesperson of theirs. Fortunately, I have no reason to get involved.
He looks off to the side and down at his hands. Wait, what do you have against Wild Pines?
What should I have for it?
Have you met the Wild Pines representative?
No, just people like that make everyone else see the world somewhat askew, at an angle that is convenient for them. Now, you have more questions, or are we?
Actually, that's all I've got.
The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing colors.
By the way, do you happen to have any guns like the ones carried by cops?
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
This is a pawn shop, and it did feel as if you've met before. Oh God. The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another, alert.
Wait, I sold you my gun?
With Kim here too. That just sounded really, really bad.
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserving of a service weapon of the Revachol Citizens Militia.
He hesitates.
And I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off-the-charts photon emissions. The unhealthy kind.
He's not telling you the whole story. It seems he's trying to spare you.
I feel like there is something you're not telling me.
You weren't quiet yourself, officer.
He looks away. What was I like?
You were very distraught. You said the gun was a threat to your life and that you can't trust yourself with it tonight. And that you need the money. When I said that I don't normally buy firearms, you put the gun barrel in your mouth and sort of sucked on it. Then I agreed to take it.
How much did I sell the gun for?
15 real.
The lieutenant looks from you to Roy, and then back to you. It's clear that he hopes this tableau might still turn out to be a bad dream. It's not, though. This has got to be the most. Wow. There's pity there, too. In case you didn't notice.
I'm so sorry you had to see me in that state. We don't have to talk about it any further.
No apologies necessary, officer.
Was the buyer a policeman too?
She didn't seem like a policeman, although she kept referring to herself as a pig, which was odd. I found her interest in the gun a bit obsessive. But I was just happy to get rid of it. And of her. Truth be told, she was terrifying.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the citizens' militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it?
Miraculously, his face does not reveal what's happening inside.
I'm sorry I sold my gun.
Yeah, it's not good. I do hope we manage to clean this mess up somehow, while also keeping our focus on the murder investigation.
This mess, he means your mess.
Any idea where I can find this buyer?
My apologies, officer, but I have no idea where she was coming from or where she went.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it now. You'll just have to hope you luck upon her somehow.
At least now I know how I lost my sidearm. Let's talk about something else.
Of course.
I wanted to ask about my missing gun
Sure
again.
thing.
Thanks
Sure,
for the review. I'd like to sell. Let's check
Yes,
if I can.
we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Yeah.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and inspects them. The spinners appear iridescent in the dancing light of his pawn shop.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign prince for them? Jump-a-mesque banger? No matter. I'll give you 200 real.
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
The lieutenant explains as the pawnbroker opens the register and counts the cash.
Of course. I meant no offense. 200 real for you, officer. Delightful doing business with you. Do come again.
Thank you.
He takes the cash and turns to you.
Here's the 130 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
The rest goes in his pocket.
The rest is for him, to compensate for the pain of being separated from his radiant spinners. The windfall is a small consolation.
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
Don't have anything to sell at the moment.
Another time, perhaps.
Let's go. I think I'll go and talk to Cindy, the graffiti artist, and then I think I'll call it a stream at that point, because it's been a decent amount of work we've done here. So, run to the artist and talk to her. It feels so odd that time is not going anywhere at this moment at night. I mean, I can't complain. I've managed to do a lot this way, but still, it's strange. Hey.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Okay. Nothing changed. Probably we should just keep on acting, going, doing something. Not much has changed here either. So we are going to talk to the just to the representative of the Wild Pines as soon as we begin the next stream tomorrow. I think that's gonna happen tomorrow. So let's reside here for a time being, save the game, and yes, that's it. Thank you very, very much for watching, everyone. I wish you a nice time of the day, whatever you have. My greetings to YouTube as well, and see you very soon. Thanks. Bye bye.